Hello there. Welcome. This is our biggest stream to date. We've run some games you can check out on youtube.com/Stillfleet. But this is the first time the Stillfleet studio is doing a proper, really a campaign, West Marches style campaign of Stillfleet. We have 3 GMs. Today we have 4 players, and we're going to do it again at some point. So thanks, first of all, to our players and our GMs. So thanks a lot for joining us. We'll do some intros in a bit. To kick it off, I'm Wythe, and this is the Stillfleet Studio stream, and we're running a game of Stillfleet, the RPG, which you can check out. You can get the PDF online and whatnot, and it's a far future sci-fi game. The lead GM today is going to be Ryan O'Connor, who randomly is in the middle of the screen here. And I'm just going to, Ryan, let me know if you want me to share any imagery. Otherwise, I'll just be a couple NPCs. Jesse is our other GM. There's Jesse. And then we have a bunch of awesome players. So again, thank you so much. I'm going to hand it over to Ryan, and I'm happy to say more if you want about NARM, the Hulk, or the Ultra structure, I should say, full of Hulks that we've been exploring. We're continuing to explore.
Thanks, Wythe, for setting us up and helping organize these games. It's been a lot of fun so far. For the viewing audience who may be unfamiliar, NARM is the setting that we're playing on. It's the setting of West March's sort of open table style campaign that we play every 2 weeks. Where to begin? So if you're familiar with Stillfleet, the game, the setting, what you need to know about NARM is that it's an extra special assignment for which you live off Spindle on a small space station cobbled together from ancient parts, think ISS style, where it's called the Go Down, where you live while you're working at for the NARM desk of the F-Dealing of the Void, exploring this straw-shaped ultrastructure of blackstone, similar to Spindle blackstone, which is about the radius of a moon and extends, the length of the straw extends past observable space. It may be infinitely long. Many late Tefnian hulks litter the inside of the straw. Other stranger objects and places exist within it as well. And there are rumors, religious sects of Waitons which attribute NARM as the origin of the Waiton race. So for a few reasons there, the company is very interested in exploring NARM, but it's been some decades since the TAC quake, which happened 20 years before the Stillfleet core rulebooks setting, and 60 years before the setting of Kadita. And so that's where we pick up. About 60 years after the company has been exploring NARM, most of that project is abandoned, but now the company is picking up that project again under the direction of Senior Archivist Amaago and refactor Drumming Grown Renter. As we, sort of credits rolling, a little like, credits intro sequence, let's catch up with each of the players as they've been spending their time on the Go Down since their last venture. Can I kick it to Matthew? VV, what have you been up to, and who are you a little bit for the stream audience?
Well, catching up with VV, you'd find a sort of homely, drably clothed Gelasti, which is the sort of salamander-oid race from Darasan, ? Pronunciation. But despite their drab clothing, they have this sort of robin egg blue, slimy skin with pops of yellow on their frills and gills that adorn their head. And then they've got a pair of spectacles that almost work as goggles and frame their face in like an arc to match their eyes, which don't point in quite the same direction. And you kind of catch him maybe a little. It sounds like everybody's had some rough ventures recently. The one that they've been on so far has been fine, and so they're having a great time. They've been going around the go down basically with their all their like little papers and quills, and just you'll find them writing things down, looking at a blank wall and just scribbling furiously, following around some of the head archivists and trying to learn a little bit more about the go down and what ventures have been going on.
Fantastic, thanks. How about we look at Gix next?
Hello, Cameron here. I'm playing Gix Weatherspoon, who is a tremulant conscript. Picture a tall man from Earth, an Earth man wrapped in bandages with a black poncho-style cloak over those bandages, who has normally been keeping to himself. Back on Earth, he was a great kind of a grand tree-based religion that he was a member of, this sect, and his conscription into the Co has kind of shaken his faith in that religion and has kind of ventured out to NARM to refine faith. And he's certainly found a lot of things to believe in here in his 6 ventures into NARM. So he's really interested in trying to engage everyone in a theological discussion about what exactly has been going on. But because of the way that his training has altered his mind, he often just trails off and sees the world in kind of a different way of everyone else, which has really isolated himself. And so while he ponders the great mysteries of the universe, he's been playing a lot of solitaire.
Great, thanks. And let's check in with the Count next.
Hi, my name is Carl, and I'm playing the Count, who is a blooder, which is like kind of a desiccated vampire-type dude from the empire that existed when this thing was made. He's an authentic aristocratic late Tefnian. He's very tall, he's very thin, he has gray skin that's kind of punctured by crystalline cysts that he that form like hardened, calcified bits of the nano blood in his body that gives him his weird, freaky powers. He, on the last venture, he actually acquired an aliquot of the genuine imperial blood, which has been very fun. So now he has some extra arms. And in light of this, he has spent his downtime trying to spread or start an imperial cult in the Go Down without much success, because he doesn't really speak spin very well. And in the meantime, he has been just sort of experimenting in his room with what his new arms can do, which I'm very excited for him to share with all of you.
Wonderful. And finally, Zeke is just stepping off the Nettle Shield, returning from her last venture. How's her state of mind?
Not great, I would say. So my name is Jennifer. I'm playing Ezekiel, or Zeke. They are a fleeter banshee. So kind of a tall-ish female-presenting person, short cropped hair, but wearing kind of a sort of flight suit, enviro suit, and also like an algae leather, like sort of leather jacket. Very like Top Gun vibes, trying to pull off like a kind of cool, collected, like, you know, too cool for school kind of vibe. But they're definitely feeling a little bit unsettled after what has just happened. And their mind is kind of, usually they're quite cheerful and kind of willing to chat with other people. But after kind of what's just happened, they're feeling a little bit shaken, I think.
Yeah, and maybe they stop in at the bodega to pick up some tech equipment that they asked to be delivered, but pretty quickly, Zeke and the other 3 of you here get pulled into the labs for a meeting with Amaago, and I'm going to kick it back to Wife. playing Amaago.
All right, we have everyone with us, right? That's all y'all that are available. She's asking you as if you would know about the job she's about to assign you, but hasn't assigned you yet, and who else is on the go down. Okay, well, this is it then. Look, we've had more weird signals from City of Scales. Y'all know City of Scales, the sort of biostructure on the inside rim of NARM, closer to us, closer to go down. It's kind of the nearest object we've been exploring. We've sent 2-3 teams there. She's looking around at you again, like, how many times have you gone there and come back alive? Some of you might have gone and died, and she wouldn't be able to talk to those people easily anyway. We need to go back again. We figured out what's going on. I don't know if y'all noticed, there was this gray-goo scenario recently, what you call a Quicksilver Plague. We've now designated in the archive Gray Plague, Fast Variant, Undifferentiated Navionoma 8, or GP-F-VARUNA 8. But you can call it Quicksilver Plague. We need to stop it. It's destroying City of Scales. We can't research the Waitenoids, whatever that has to do with NARM, if it all just becomes undifferentiated nano robots that just make more of themselves. It's boring, and frankly, it's kind of disgusting, philosophically. Also looks gross. So we need you to go. They're coming from a Hulk parked near, orbiting within NARM's central tube, near City of Scales, called GU'UMKU, or Roar of the Reed Eater in Late Tefnian. However, we think that most of whatever has left the Hulk has already left. So we don't really care about that. It's just an empty shell, a dead ship. We need you to stop the Quicksilver Plague that is on City of Scales now. She pauses. Some of you may have some experience with City of Scales. I'll leave it to you to think about what stopping this really means in the context of City of Scales. My interest is in the nanomachine parts, and she reaches behind. So, you're sort of standing, floating. There's pseudo-gravity from the spin of the go down, but it's weaker than Terran gravity. And most things are modular. There's sort of white bend that the sort of bioplastic that the archive can manufacture, or just steel, brush steel. And everything is kind of modular. It's a little bit bricolage. It doesn't all fit. But her lab is immaculate. There's always just tons of compartments. Everything is, compartments within compartments. She reaches down below, and her main desk is usually free of machines, and she'll bring over modularly and kind of latch them in so they don't float away, chromatography instrumentation, or just what looks like a cage with a small animal being tortured, normal archivist stuff. Today, she reaches out and pulls up what looks like a archival-made sawed-off shotgun. It's a very large, solid, dark gunmetal gun. She puts it on the table, and she reaches in also and pulls up 4 large slugs that look very different from normal shotgun slugs. They all have different markings. They look like they have kind of a crust, like they're made of pretzel pizza dough, baked into little, tin cans. And they might float away, so she kind of asks one of you to take these things immediately. So who has the sawed-off shotgun? You can't all shake your heads. You can't all be scientists. Okay, who's taking it?
My frills retract in fear.
I take stick.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have it. Whatever.
Dangerous stick.
Stick.
Danger stick.
Okay, the count. You're good with a stick. Who is good with a stick? Let me rephrase. Can you shoot it?
Zeke, maybe you should take the stick.
I think I should probably take the stick.
Don't shoot it in the go down and depressurize our vessel.
I trust Zeke with the stick.
The
Okay,
Count
great.
hands the stick to Zeke.
Great. Do you also
Right.
take the 4 strange-looking shells?
Yep.
Okay, great. So write that down in your character sheet. All right, listen. I don't know how to stop Gray Plague, Fast Variant, Undifferentiated Navionoma 8, aka GP-F-VARUNA 8, aka Quicksilver Plague, any more than you do, since we've all just for the first time, because of GU'UMKU, presumably a dead Hulk leaking, encountered Quicksilver Plague, aka Gray Plague, Fast Variant, Undifferentiated Navionoma 8, aka GP-F-VARUNA 8. However, I've made a universal reprogrammable smart dust, which you'll see. It looks a little bit like pretzel pizza crust, but it is actually an assemblage of what the archive can produce by way of our own nanites. You can't tell anyone, remember, it's classified that we make our own nanites. Sort of. Now, I don't know if it's going to be programmed exactly. I think if you fired it right now into a tsunami of gray goo, it would have the effect of firing an ordinary shotgun blast, perhaps. Maybe a little bit better. We'll see. You can tweak the performance, however. My hope is that over time, granted there's only 4 shells, you can program maybe the 4th to just solve the problem. It's a little bit of a science experiment. Isn't that fun? She looks principally at Zeke since you have the thing.
So, boss, sorry, if I've understood correctly, you are saying that the shells will learn over time, so they'll get better over time, but we have to use them in order for them to learn how to reprogram the nanites.
You have to do the programming, but yes, if you observe the effect and then depending on the effect's intensity, right, then you might tweak the metrics. The smart dust that the archive has been able to create so far it's not that smart by late Tefnian standards. But again, don't tell anyone that. We want to project an air of confidence with dangerous aliens. So yeah, just don't tell them anything. Don't tell anyone anything. But for you, you need to be able to, you're a Banshee, right? Yes. Why don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. We don't stand on ceremony. Here, you could just call me Senior Archivist, Commander of the Go Down, et cetera, et cetera. Just reprogram them, make them better. That's the job, right? I'm not going to be there because obviously it's a field operation. I'm getting old and I'm too important to lose. So it's your job to go into the dangerous tsunami of horrible nanomachines and then shoot them with a gun, which is how the company tries to solve many of our problems.
Yes, ma'am, Senior Archivist, Commander of the Go Down, et cetera, et cetera. We will make sure that that happens.
Excellent.
Etc.
Well, that's it. It's very close by. We figured it's too dangerous to tack out to the waypoint stiffworks that you've already inserted. You can if you'd like, but we'd prefer maybe you take Nettle Shield, have a little backup floating around, just to also in case GU'UMKU tries anything. Nettle Shield doesn't have weapons, but we'll probably know Nettle Shield, it'll just leave you. But anyway, in theory, Nettle Shield could like nudge it out of the way or something. But you'd have a couple escape options there, right? So I'll leave that to you.
Did you say there is this stiffwork somewhere nearby?
Ryan, the waypoint stiffworks still are active, right? There are waypoint stiffworks, archivally made flimsy stiffworks.
Yeah, there are 2 waypoint stiffworks in the City of Scales. One seems to the last venture, or was it the last venture? I don't know. One of the ventures to the City of Scales left a waypoint stiffworks in what they thought was a safe location, but over time the city seems to have grown, and maybe that one's not so safe. So they set up another one in a safe location, but maybe now the city has grown and it's not so safe. And the last time that any of the voidminers visited the City of Scales, the Count and Gix may remember, they encountered some of this sort of corrosion from the Quicksilver Plague at the edge of the city, and had to make a quick retreat.
The Count, still, because he's been not terribly active, other than trying to start his cult and napping, hasn't actually discarded some of the stuff he brought with him from that venture. So he's gonna like take out a briefcase that he has, which had some of the sample kit, and from the sort of stream of gray goo that he put the sample kit into, he still has one of the vials. So he takes that out and is like, "What if shoot this stick?"
Well, are you what?
Maybe not here, but maybe we can have a look at that. Is that a sample? I wasn't on the last. I hadn't come.
Oh, can we shoot that?
Well, I don't think we want to shoot. Like, we want to program it so that we can shoot it. No, we don't shoot it and then that does the programming.
But we shoot the first one, see the results, and then program.
Let's not do that here.
Right,
Okay.
right.
If we're also doing a vote, then I love riding on the Nettle Shield. I've only done it once, but it was really fun.
You can talk to it and keep it occupied.
Yeah.
He's no good company. The Nettle Shield was my cryogenic escape pod, if I remember correctly.
I think it'll grow on you.
Maybe
too much.
literally.
Very good. Another piece of equipment that has been useful in the City of Scales in the past is the Threnodian polyphonizer, which Amaago or members of her lab have been tinkering with and have attached a like Tupperware of green goo that was collected, left behind by a Xenoglade, presumably. So that could come in handy at the City of Scales. So you're welcome to take it along. And I think or unless there are further questions for Amaago, as the crew sort of loads up into the Nettle Shield, you can reminisce on your time in the City of Scales or strategize, share notes, and maybe if there's any like anything that Jesse you want us to remember about the City of Scales, you could pepper those in as we do a little like getting there montage in the Nettle Shield.
Yeah, I'd love it, Jesse, if we get the cutaway from anime style. The group has their mission to a camera in space in an infinite straw of black stone filled with dead ships, and on the side is a snot bubble the size of not even a city, but of England or Madagascar. And as we zoom in, we see that it is slowly being eaten. It is slowly dying due to a wave of silver, of Quicksilver. What's going on there? What's up with that? Weird.
Weird. So I can recap sort of what we know about the City of Scales, where the voidminers have been. So the company had knowledge of the City of Scales in some way before the quake, it seems, and lost contact with it. But they had initially sent a group from the NARM desk to go out with the Vernodian polyphonizer to map it using EMF in some way. You're not really sure exactly how it works, but it seems to be able to measure something or communicate with the city. And when they went there, they found not so much a city as an edifice of kind of scales and goop of this sort of growing, kind of pulsating place. They found some zombies, and then they kind of returned. Then when the Go Down was attacked later, unrelated seemingly, but they were attacked by a Xenoglade, and at the end of that, when they killed the Xenoglade, several of the party were impelled to go back to the City of Scales, and they did. And that's where we found this runoff. That when they went, it seemed the city was larger, but also in places was damaged, and the polyphonizer seems to be able to pick up on that. Is there anything else that you're missing?
The snot bubble is growing, but also being eaten.
Yeah.
Just write that down.
What
Poetry.
is this? Grade 2 class?
You see that in very big letters in one of Vivi's notebooks. Very
All right, we
detailed
have a
drawing.
witness. I don't need to take any notes. What am I doing?
If my button mashing gets too loud, just say something. I'm trying to type quietly.
I just want to note that on our first trip to the City of Scales, Gix played around with a Vernodian polyphonizer, so has some experience. So probably would have been the person to volunteer to pick that up.
Okay.
Beep, boop.
Thanks, Gix. Fantastic.
Are we
Thanks,
heading
so
to
now?
the...
Wow.
Are we heading...
Yeah, while we're on the Nettle Shield, I think Gix has not interacted with the Nettle Shield before, so it'd probably be like kind of knock on the walls or something, like, what's this guy's deal?
Oh,
Yeah,
they're going to start talking soon.
So you file in to this sort of cuttlefish-shaped red escape pod, basically. in order to because it's sort of struck a deal with the company to shuttle people around in NARM, and it can travel much faster than any other mode of conveyance other than, say, Stiffworks. So it can, reach near sea speeds and take you down great distances of NARM. In this case, you're not traveling nearly as far, but to have him around, in case you needed extraction, could be useful. And Wife usually voices the Nettle Shield. So as you file in and get to know each other, you can chit chat with the Nettle Shield a little bit.
And even though you were saying that non-diegetically, but exogenously for we, the players, somehow as you're entering the Hulk, it is, imagine, a double-sized school bus in the shape of a red ceramic steel cuttlefish that is always undulating and moving, other than it keeps, of course, one area with a side port level with the go-downs air dock. And as you enter, it says, I'm not a mere escape pod. I am a Sepidin-class shuttle meant for perhaps not noble fluencers, but since you weren't there, I'll say I was meant for ultra-fluencers. Yes, that's right. I was shuttling around the Empresa's own court. Or was I? Was I doing something more quotidian? Was I shuttling around, I don't know, tax specialists of some kind? Or just a bunch of people doing research on mutant animals, horny mutant animals. And now it's showing holograms from 5,000 years ago, none of which makes sense, all of which would be highly offensive to describe on stream. But yes, the central, it's sort of stomach main area, you can sit down and it will form sort of foam couches around you, settees that it will hold you in place as it approaches near light speed. And thus you will not die from the acceleration and deceleration. It also has like a snack room. It has like a 4 observatory. Its brain would be in the aft near its drive, but it's all sort of distributed. And it also, if it hasn't met you before, it really focuses on you and asks you very personal questions and tries to like learn what traumas you've experienced in the past and how to manipulate you. Pretty much by saying things like, what traumas have you experienced? I mean, if you had to say to a friend, like in a fun, informal, chatty way and not a weird way.
Can I speak with the ship in late Tefnian?
Yeah, no, it highly prefers that.
Well, of course, my friend. I haven't seen you in so long. Why have you not been returning my calls?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's definitely not because you're not cool and sort of weird, and the long eons of cryosleep have made you like a super boring, strange zombie person. No, it's not that at all. It's definitely because I've been busy playing, and it thinks for way too long for a supercomputer. Backgammon! And then it shows what it calls backgammon is such a complex, imagine like the most complex Ameritrash board game ever, but, with nanites, and it's played in like 4 spatial dimensions, and so I'm just thinking of the next move. That's it. That's the only reason, Count.
That's quite a relief, my friend, and you might consider moving the hamburger to A6.
I hadn't even thought of that. It does that, and the game implodes. It dies in a black hole. Well, better luck next time, Count. I was only playing that game for 5,000 years. But anyway, we'll try again. See if I can get to stage 3. And it starts a blank screen of this 4-dimensional matrix of moves it can make. Anyone else doing anything? You can ask for snacks. It will almost definitely try to give you a perverse monkey's paw, like motor oil tasting version thereof, but it can, in theory, 3D print basic life pod-esque things that you need.
When the Count was having this conversation, as it like finished the conversation, they turned around and Vivi was just like right at their elbow, like listening to every single word, because they had tried to learn or like figure out what the late Tefnian music like vocals were last time, and so they're just trying to grab as many words, and so they're pointing at the game and they're like, solitaire.
Roll reason to figure out. This will be our first roll of the game. So in the grid system, you're rolling dice. Each score is a different die. So whatever the die is for reason, we're hoping to get a 6 or higher on Matthew's roll.
Okay. Reason, I've got a D8. No bonuses. 4.
4. Okay, Vivi, the Gelasti witness. You believe you correctly understood what's happening, which is some sort of complicated political map, and they were debating basically something deep and philosophical. You think it had something to do with a sort of Rousseauian, what is the primitive state of sapiens? Are they naturally good or bad? What you saw was like hamburger icons, numbers, but it was all, late Tefnian graphic design, floating red holograms. And then it just turned into what looked like a black hole, like eating the game board. So you're not sure sort of who won the conversation, but yeah. Solitaire.
Writing down nature versus nurture. Right under snot bubble.
Very good.
Zeke has been
Solitaire.
She's also interested in learning late Tefnian because she's had several conversations with very interesting Hulk AIs recently. But I think she's more interested in having a look at the shotgun and trying to figure out how it can be programmed. Like, she doesn't want to have to do that when there's a wave of silver goo apparently coming at them. So she wants to kind of familiarize herself with the tech now while she has time to kind of look at it.
Yeah, I think why don't you also give us a reason to use tech check, and with the sample of the Quicksilver Plague that the Count had, I think you'll learn something with a standard check, but you'll learn something else with a very difficult 12 or higher.
This is nanite. What stratum is the shotgun?
The shotgun is Clank. So I guess it's a question, do you want to know how shotguns work, or do you want to know how the reprogrammable smart dust, which is nano, works?
Oh.
So shotguns, you kind of, okay. Then the Clank one is easy.
Okay.
It's 5 times 1.
I've got a bonus for certain stratum levels. So I'll just roll and we'll see where we get.
Or you can roll, instead of jack.
Doesn't matter. I rolled a 9 plus 1, 10.
10. Yeah, fantastic. You've definitely got a good idea of how the nanites are going to work. They're going to sort of decommission the nanites that they strike. Basically, the little capsule of shotgun blast hits nanites, and those are going to fall out of the sky as just inert dust. They still have all of their sort of like je ne sais quoi, that they could be reprogrammed if they were collected and brought back to the archive, but the efficacy of like each shotgun blast is going to need tuning still, as Wythe explained. I think for a pretty powerful success, I think you're like one step closer to making them work well for this particular application.
Yeah, she's particularly interested then in making that deactivation spread, like if they can propagate to the next nanite before they stop working, so that instead of just the ones we hit, we get like kind of a blast of it instead.
Yeah.
So that's the direction she wants to go with that.
Cool.
Yeah, that's the idea, is like a ring vaccination thing. But in terms of intensity, I'll say, since you got a 10 on inspecting the whole apparatus, which is really just a totally normal shotgun, but at least she got one express shipped to the bodega that was like very well made. So it's like, I guess in theory, it adds another D4. So this would do 4D4 damage if you shot a person with it. But the point is just that it wouldn't miss, right? It's not broken. So normal shotgun, and then the reprogrammable smart dust canisters. There's only 4. They look like tin cans stuffed with pretzel crust, and they each, you can burn 10 grit to nudge the effect up one step, or you could just burn 25 grit to make one maximally efficacious. You could also just roll reason, but you need a 12 plus to reprogram them without using your Banshee training, just by like whatever hacking it without you properly using tools would be. So you have a couple options there, but if you want to boost the effect, you're going to need to like actually get out your computer, like tap into it with like, I don't know, imagining like little wires, like soldering iron, like I don't know how it works, atomic force microscope, but it looks like a Nintendo Power Glove, and rapidly go in there and change what the machines do to be more effective. There's MacGuffin levels. You're at level 1 of 4 of MacGuffin effect.
Pretzel small, 1 pretzel.
You want to see one of these?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll look into this in a little bit, but I feel like there's something that I could figure out with the dust in my nanites.
Are you gonna give it? Oh, okay. Can I have it back at some point?
Oh, yes.
Great.
In time.
Cool.
Great.
This
So,
is
as you're preparing yourselves in various ways and getting to know the Nettle Shield, some time passes and you come into view. The Nettle Shield decelerates. You come into view of the City of Scales and GU'UMKU, sort of mostly shapeless mass of, sort of like softly undulating mass of nanites who all look, evenly reflective across its pretty enormous surface, right? At least as big as the Nettle Shield is itself, and little like arms reaching out in various directions, one of which has attached itself to the edge of the City of Scales, this snot bubble, which is like sloshing back and forth like time-lapse videos of slime molds with the cytoplasm, and collecting little pieces of the corroded city and sloshing back and forth. So in order to solve this problem, maybe you want to address the damage at the city, maybe you want to intercept the stream in between, or maybe you want to go straight to the source and try to fix or decommission GU'UMKU.
Well, with only 4 shots, we'll want to make sure each one counts. So perhaps center mass?
Well, I mean, just going on the ground and starting to blast away is probably, like you said, not the best option. If we can maybe get the ship to recall its nanites somehow, if it's still contactable, alive in any way.
For those who've been here before, how communicative was this plague ship?
We never went to the plague ship, but we went to the City of Scales. I would describe it as intermittently communicable. And when it speaks, it has a lot to say.
Good. I love when things have a lot to say.
Yes. If you have eating of some zombie, tropical vacation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an inside joke just for the GMs, I think, basically. But it's a good one. Almost as though on cue, the Threnodian polyphonizer, when you mention communicating Gix, sort of like hums to life. It's doing something kind of on its own.
Ooh.
Can I do a reason check to try to figure out what it's doing, and also try to figure out what the new its new GU'UMKU module is doing in there? Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
So D12. A 7.
Yeah, 7. You fiddle with the Threnodian polyphonizer in the ways that you've done before, and you're able to resolve. Maybe it has like a little the toy with all the pins in it, and you like tip it one way and they all align, and then you press into it, and it's got like the goo is sort of doing that a little bit, and starts to resolve into maybe it's a waveform, and so you keep fiddling and you get a little bit more resolved, and a voice speaks to you. Jesse?
Oh, Gix, I remember you. You guys, you are going to help me. Please, please help.
Excuse me, who are we speaking to? Wrong number?
You know this voice.
Oh, okay. Is it the city of Scales? Do I recognize it as a city of Scales?
You recognize it as the voice that has like compelled you to go to the city of Scales in the past. That you, in particular, Gix, were like knocked out by, but it sounds different. It seems to be asking for something for a purchase.
It heard us.
We are not being very quiet.
I flip a couple more switches to try to do the two-way communication and say, "We know, we're coming," or something along those lines.
You'd better be.
Okay.
All right.
It's a lot of sass.
Can you ask it kind of where the crux of the problem? Like, is there a place that it is something like it's worse than elsewhere, or that we definitely shouldn't land?
We can see where the arm connects, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we should ask if how deep the plague has gotten, because even if we cut off the source, if there's enough inside, it might still continue to perpetuate. It seems worse than it was last time. Yes, Kix?
Yes, it is worse. So, what should I call you?
Maybe.
I say into the polyphonizer, asking the city if they have any preferred pronouns or a name.
Exalted Nest Weaver.
Mighty Exalted Nest Weaver. Is there anything you can tell us that can help us help you?
She's like, you see the source of this. But it's burning. Like, and she just will keep saying that until you kind of, fiddle with it so that.
Okay, I
quiets down.
shut off the polyphonizer a little bit. It is burning.
Oh,
Cool.
program Pepto-Bismol.
Speaking of which, have any of y'all come across this gray stuff before? Like literally come in contact with it? What does it actually do to?
I point at the count.
Yes.
What does it do?
So there was in most trip time before big stream. I shoot, bang, splash, and goo on me become slug, squish, also arms, imperial blood, and also burn hole in wall.
He shot at the stuff and it gave him 2 new arms.
Okay. All right. So it's not like immediately gonna kill us all.
You may be
Why?
special.
Uh-huh. Tefnians. Okay, so all right. So it seems like we have 2 choices. We can either head to Exalted Nest Weaver and try to stop the influx of the plague there, or we can go to the ship that it came from and see if it's awake, if it can recall what the nanites, or if it is doing this for some reason, if we can try to reason with it.
I will always follow a diplomatic mission.
Well, you're technically the ranking officer here, so I guess it's your choice.
Oh, that's right. What does everybody else?
Count or Nettle Shield, could you communicate with GU'UMKU since it's also Tefnian?
Oh, of course, mate. I hadn't have thought of that. Even though I'm an extremely intelligent, general-purpose artificial intelligence, it just did not occur to me to simply knock on the door, say, "Hello, how are you, mate? How are you holding up after 5,000 years?" It's not like we get lonely. We don't really have feelings, right? We're just robots. Is that what you're insinuating? Should I just open the door to space? Should I just let you fly out? No,
That
I'll
won't be
ask.
necessary.
I'm,
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm sensing a little bit of hostility and perhaps sarcasm as well. And I'm hoping that perhaps we can find a middle ground where you address the things that would prevent you from doing that, that could help us move past that barrier with the plague machine.
You've asked for soap opera mode, and it starts projecting holograms of late Tefnian television, and you're now in, because it's 3D, it's like you're living through a show called Meta Funeral of the Carnifexual Evil Bishop, and it seems to be about two sisters, one of whom is like the counselor to the Impreza, one of the Red Imprezas herself. Long may they dwell in hell and never return to this dimension. And basically, it is completely horrifying. It's like being in a music video, like one of those cool early indie rock type videos where like there's a werewolf just killing people on a dance floor. I think that was the AAS. But somehow it's also everyone is talking to you like a video game, and like you're supposed to weigh in and shape the drama. Meanwhile, Nettleshield is pinging GU'UMKU, and then just tells the count, but only the count by tight audio beam, sends waves to your ears that says GU'UMKU. They use a phrase that you might translate as dead as 50,000 sparrows in the fist of a great war machine.
Nice. Oh no, sorry, I'm fancy British.
All these sparrows, eh?
Oh yeah, don't forget about those sparrows, mate. Sparrows in a war machine. I turn to the team and I say, sheep. Dead.
Is that a maybe? That sounds like a maybe.
No, he's very certain.
Dead.
Very certain. No life. It's like if you have 200 weightons in mashed potato.
Okay.
So that's a no.
That's a no. That doesn't sound good.
People's heads are getting ripped off around us.
Yeah.
Oh, this favorite episode.
Right.
Okay.
I guess there's no point in trying to talk to it.
We talk with Bullet.
It's a language I can understand, so let's get going.
Yeah. Language.
You're starting to think to yourself, why did Amaago send a witness?
Why is this my second mission?
I quite curtly and with the appropriate severity and authority tell Nettleshield to bring us to the door.
Well, that I love doing. I love pitching living beings out into the hellish nightmarescape of space, not near any Van Allen belts.
It does.
Well, no, to the.
I'm sorry. You want me to turn up the intensity of the simulation of I forgot the name of the show. Meta Funeral for the Carnifex of the or the Meta Funeral for the Carnifexual Evil Bishop.
In late Tefnian, I say to Nettleshield, I don't suppose that you're trying to get uppity with us, are you?
No, I'm not annoyed at all. I'm impossible to. I can't be passive aggressive due to my programming.
Well, that's what I thought. So why don't you be silent and bring us to where we said, You useless bag of rocks. You think that just because you've been programmed to think that you can actually think, silence yourself and bring us where you are told, fool.
Roll charm.
Hell yeah.
I'm so happy someone gets along with it. I say to Zeke.
I'm going to burn 3
Look at him, just chatting away.
Just chatting away like two old friends.
There goes my die.
Yeah, that sounded like it went a long distance.
That's a 7.
7.
It's a good audio, though.
That's great. It it's going to do what you want for now, but you realize you may have made an error here in trying to force your hand as a noble fluencer commanding a mere shuttle, given that 5,000 years have passed and it is now kind of the only game in town in terms of, an in-system drive ship that can go near the speed of light, and it knows it sort of has you all by the proverbial human disgusting organs. So it sets you down in a safe way at the entrance to City of the Scales whatever you want it to do, basically. And it does turn up the intensity of the show, but then as it's docking procedures take place, which basically all of the televisual drama disappears and is replaced by the equivalent of if you're on an airline and they have like one of those things playing, and then the stewards are also showing you by hand like the exits. It's doing that, but it is Tefnian hymnal, so it seems as though you are in a now metal music video that is even more intense. But the point of which is just to know like how to safely exit into an airlock. But it's very confusing, obviously, for any of you who don't speak Tefnian, which I think is all of you but the Count.
I'm going to put one of those canisters in the shotgun and get it ready to fire. I don't think it's quite ready yet, but it's the best thing that we have. And going to put my exosuit visor down and head outside.
There you go.
I scamper after Zeke.
All right, kids, let's get out of here.
Yeah. On my way out, I want to just pop off one of my crystal cysts and toss it into the ship, because now it contains genuine Imperial blood. So I'm like, a small conciliatory gesture.
Yeah, it makes it into like a friendship bracelet, and then throws it into its sort of trash compactor area, which could mean anything, really. But yeah, you're there. You're all there.
At the door, Gix turns on the Threnodian polyphilizer again and tries to talk to Exalted Nestweaver, saying, "Knock, knock. Where do we need to go? Or can you show us where to go?"
Ask it where it hurts.
You ask it where it hurts.
Where does it
I'm
hurt?
not saying that.
Saying the polyphilizer.
Point to the doll where it hurts.
Have you experienced trauma?
You get the sense that this person, this voice is like having none of this. She's like, Gix, you've been there, and I hear the Count. I know who you are. Go find it. Like,
I get the sense that this is because of the burning, the aforementioned burning, that they don't feel like they want to describe, or they have time or attention to communicate this, or are they tired of us?
No, I think that's the right interpretation.
Okay.
There's something because of the damage or whatever that is standing in the way of easy communication. Because it seems like the Threnodian polyphonizer now is tuned to easy communication, but there's something else going on.
yeah, I think, yes.
Okay.
So where
Count? I turn to the Count. Do you remember where to go?
Yes, I say very confidently and start walking in an arbitrary direction.
Yeah.
Great.
Something that you've used the Threnodian polyphonizer to do before was wayfind, essentially, within the City of Scales. So you can pretty easily find your way there. And you're walking through tunnels and like walkways and sometimes like edifices of buildings. Usually when you like walk into a building, you're again outside, as you know, as it would appear in a city. You walk into a building, and across the way there's another building for you to walk into, or a narrow tunnel that sort of widens out into city square that has lots of little interesting things to see or cafes to sit at, but there aren't any people, and everything in the city is made up of like chitinous, brownish, overlapping scales. that was something that you observed the last time you were here, that the walls were hardening. Previously, they were very squishy and greenish, and you could like cut off a swath of the living city, but that's no longer possible. And you know, using the polyphonizer to wayfind, arrive at some of this damage, and it's just a very simple, like snaking, like softly flowing stream through one building out into you know, open space, and entering another building. And at each point where it meets the living structure, there's just a like gray-black burn mark that is much bigger than the space of the you know, nanite stream that seems to have punctured through it.
This was what we are seeing in Trip before.
Could I burn a grit to use my insight ability? So I'll make a reason check, and then if I'm successful, I would like to either have like a minor epiphany or find a clue or something. I kind of want to get a scale of how far this has gotten along inside the ship, sort of based on their past reports and like what we're seeing now. Kind of like, how bad is it inside?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that makes sense. So one grit and a reason check.
Grit, here we go. And I realized, thank you, Jennifer. She told me I actually had advantage on that last roll. I went ahead and rolled again, and I still failed. So that's why I did not bring it up after you.
I tried.
That is a 3. So now.
It's pretty big, definitely bigger than what you can see right here.
Yeah.
But I think that was clear even before you you know, worked really hard to red string corkboard put it together. But yeah, I don't know. Anyone else have any little tests they want to do, or shotgun they want to fire, or anything like that?
Well, I what was it that you had said about there was a check that we could roll to see what was up with the shotgun? There was like a reason check. Do you remember, Wythe? With the pellets, with the...
Yeah, there's 2 ways to try to reprogram this with whatever tools you have. There's the kind of technical way that in Droid Miners College you're taught to program nanites in the course on nanotechnology, which again, imagine something like a early capitalist workshop, but also 1980s computers. So again, you've got soldering irons and like simple atomic force microscopes hooked up to, in this case, often just like dangerous containers full of goo. That you're trying to make do things. So here you can use the power jack and burn grit to do it automatically, but it costs a good amount. Or you could roll reason, use technology, and hope to get a really high result. So you really need a 12 plus to not burn grit. I mean, you probably burn grit to boost, but you need a 12 plus result. So sort of impossibly good result to hack into these canisters in a meaningful way without using the Banshee power jack.
Could I pour a little bit of the vial of goo that I have into it as part of that to try to get some sort of bonus or boost to that roll?
Yeah, remind me of the provenance of the other thing you're going to pour into the
this
smart
stream,
dust.
The last stream that I came across, the one that also splashed on me and gave me the Imperial blood.
I'm getting that shotgun ready. I'm watching him do this, just like, all right, here we go.
I feel like there's a question for Jesse and Ryan as to what is the provenance of that. Is it these things do not often interact well, so I would say we could roll on we could sort of do a random roll and just say roll high, you know, like roll a d6, try not to get a 1. As to how these two kinds. But what do you want to side chat at all, or say anything about the nature of the fluid that is being poured into the reprogrammable smart dust made by Senior Archivist Amaago?
Yeah, it did come from essentially this stream, just nearer the edge of the city, some number of weeks ago, 4 weeks ago or so.
Maybe it's gone stale.
It's pretty similar, but let's see. I I don't know.
I think you have a 1 in 3 chance this is a good result.
Okay.
A 1 in 3 chance nothing really happens, and a 1 in 3 chance something very bad happens. So I think you could roll a d3 if you want, and then try to get a 3.
Okay. Could I roll a d6 and then divide it by 2 just
That's
to make things easier?
exactly.
That's how I usually do it. Yeah.
I tell everybody to stand back.
I
give
do that.
space. Give space in case bad.
I see how far everyone else is going and take like
That's-
2 extra steps.
Okay. And I straddle. I kind of like take one foot and put it over the stream, so I'm like directly over the stream, so that I'm pouring it into the shotgun shell, and then that also goes down into the stream, just to make sure that there's no splashing if it goes on the ground or anything.
Well, it's great if you get a 3.
I am just gonna stand in front of Vivi a little bit, or like get them behind a building.
Oh, I was already behind you.
Okay, I'm gonna roll my d6, and then I guess depending on how that goes, I'll roll my reason check.
I understand I am in charge, but I am also small.
Don't worry, I got you.
squishy.
Hey, we got this.
It
Everything's gonna be
cocked.
fine.
It's got stuck on a cable, so I'm gonna reroll.
Great sign.
Okay, so I have Cloud as a passive. I did roll a 1.
You rolled a 1. Great. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Ryan or Jesse, do you want me to describe, or do you want to describe what happens when the Quicksilver Plague nanites take over and learn from the reprogrammable smart dust nanites?
Yeah, I have an idea for it. I think as you sort of drip it in, the vial seems to hesitate to let go of the stream of nanites, but it finally drips and hits the, canister. It fizzes and foams and bubbles over, sort of disintegrating first the canister, and then some of your skin, and then falls plop into the stream. And it's just sort of creating like stiff, when you spray insulation foam, stiff like outer layer that's expanding. It's soft inside as it continues to expand, and it is creating a little like tower, climbing itself up as it like cracks and hardens and splits off. It just like in a runaway reaction as it continuously comes into contact with more of the stream. Nearby, everyone might be able to observe that the stream starts to contract to that location. And I think you need to make a move check right away, Count, to stop straddling the stream.
It's like one of those snake fireworks that you light on the ground, and it just like continuously grows for like a bunch of time.
Exactly,
Right.
except fist-sized, so it's
Yeah.
Is this a dodge or just a straight move?
I think we'll call it a straight move. This isn't like trying to hit you. It's just
Well, I should have burned grit. I got 4.
all right. It's probably like some of the snake, as it's described, falls against your leg, and creates a like caustic spot in your exosuit or envirosuit, and creates little like needles of very small, the blood coming out of the crystalline cysts on your skin on your leg. That's going to cause you D6 damage. 6.
Oof.
Where was that on the last roll?
And now there's a little bit faster moving threat for you to deal with as the stream starts to slosh towards this crispy insulation foam snake thing forming out of the center of it.
All right, I turn to everybody and say, now we know Not do.
Can you get out of the way? Can you move? It's shotgun time. Let's go.
Okay, I
I
limp
think
over.
it's shotgun time.
Yeah, actually, what I do is I limp over. I come join the team.
All right.
I gently take that ammo from you and place it in Zeke's back pocket.
Yeah, have we used up that shell?
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah. So you're
Yeah.
down to 3. Still at first level of effect. But it could have worked. It just didn't.
Do we want to try to adapt your loaded shot before you shoot based on that?
Yeah, definitely. So remind me, you said 10 grit to boost the effect, or 25 grit for max effect. So
Yes.
How does that combine with Jack?
That is Jack. That's using
That is
Jack
Jack.
to nudge what is already programmed or to completely rewrite it better, like to scrap the code. I don't know enough computer science to correct me here, but delete the file, start a new file, versus you go into someone's file and you're like, I don't know why they're using commas instead of spaces or whatever, and you fix some element of it.
If you need Gunch or Wanch, I have.
Okay. Can I use the nano dongle for this, since I'm programming a nanite gun?
Yeah,
must
definitely. Oh yeah.
Cool. Then I'll burn 25 grit. 15 of it is coming from kind of like weird paperweight that Zeke is kind of carrying on their belt that they're drawing on to kind of assist with this kind of reprogramming, and I'll burn 10 of my own to reprogram the gun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So one of the shots now is at the maximum possible effect, which only Ryan knows what that means. But Ryan, feel free to tell me and Jesse if you want us to do things. I don't know
Yeah,
what
hell
it'll
yeah.
do.
Okay, so that's one of them, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So do we want to use the one that? I mean, let's do it. Let's go. We
Shoot it down the stream so it hits a bunch of it, like skipping
Yeah.
a stone.
Cool. Let's do it. All right. What's happening? I want to get in position, and I'm going to shoot the river.
Yeah, sounds great. I think it's time for initiative. Zeke's action is going to go off first, but everybody should roll so that we have our cue after that.
Initiative is
Movement.
move.
Do you want
For the
rolls in the
benefit
chat,
of the
or do you want us to
stream,
see
should
them?
we? Same question. For the benefit of the stream, should we say them or?
Yeah, will you just say it out loud, and I'll...
Is initiative just move?
Yeah, unless you have a specific initiative bonus or power.
I'm 8.
7.
6.
Also 8.
Ooh, look at that.
Best roll of the day so far.
And so start with Zeke's shotgun blast. That's going to kick things off. I guess you're not really shooting something that needs to dodge, but Wythe, do you think that makes sense to do combat roll?
Yeah, I think this is more about placement.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if to the degree that matters, again, for whatever effect it may or may not have, then sure, why not?
Great. I'm going to burn 3, and then I'm going to roll a d8. I rolled a 6 plus 3, so 9.
Yeah. Perfect placement. Just as Vivi suggested, you kind of, line up next to the stream, and as it's starting to slosh towards you, gathering at the, weird foam snake, you get a nice spray down along the stream, which, as the, nanites hit the I guess the, shotgun, buckshot nanites hit the stream of nanites on the ground, little like sparks, little sparking explosions take place, and the what do you call, like, surface tension of the stream completely releases, and it flattens out. It seems to cause like a cascading runaway effect that goes only a little faster than you could walk, but it's like when you press a steel wool against a battery, and it makes that little arcing, like burnt out, and behind it leaving that very like much less viscous looking, very ashy nanite residue behind it. So running out of this room in both directions is that very like little like reddish glow of tiny sparking.
Cool. Well, that worked.
Whoa.
What is it coming towards us, or do we feel threatened by this?
Are we still in initiative?
You're still in initiative. You're not feeling threatened by the like reaction on the Quicksilver stream, or like the Quicksilver Plague stream, but yeah, I think we're gonna run with initiative unless something happens, just for one round, because there's stuff in the background. So let's take first like combat round, the count.
Well, diegetically I don't know that I'm in combat, so I'm gonna.
I guess that's true.
Nothing.
So okay, the next thing that happens then, I guess, is okay. So the next thing that happens is this hole burned through the wall as the reaction reaches the wall and like just passes out of sight. Some mass of the wall seems to press into the room that you're in, as the stream behind it rears up in like wave form, presses the wall, and subsumes the living architecture, the edifice of a building. As it kind of crashes into the room, Waiton limbs and mandibles erupt from the sort of dying architecture, and sort of shambling towards you. So this is a threat in the room now, and then we can go through our combat order.
Heard, chef. Okay, well, I guess I'll.
If you want, since if I'm correct, double initiative is like simultaneous actions.
Right. You can
want.
Yeah, you can negotiate about order if you'd like.
Yeah, if you have an idea, Vivi, go.
I was going to say I might be able to get some information that will help. I'm going to burn 2 grit to use my power assess, and the entity I would like to choose is the shambling mass of wet and limbs and things.
Right.
And so basically by studying it this round, I can get an idea of what powers it may have, what its general nature, whether that's stats or not. To quickly just kind of like be like, oh shit, what did we just do?
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so you burn 2 grit, and you get a pretty good idea of what this thing is and what it's trying to do. It's essentially a Waiton nanite walker, but like lots of body parts, not one full body plan. So instead of D4 move, it has a D2 move, and instead of D8 comm, it has a D12 comm.
Okay.
So kind of mindless creature, not a
even more mindless than a walker that you might have, a zombie that reanimated by a gray plague you might have encountered in the past.
And then just clarifying about the stream of the plague, did it halt or split?
It split.
It split, but it's still continuing to stream in two directions now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That does not have a soul. Shoot.
I remember, my friend.
Use the danger sticks.
I've better. And I proceed to wear the world's skin. So I'm going to burn 3d4 grit. And for the following number of rounds equal to my level +1, my form becomes monstrous, red, varicose, and grotesque. My powers shift. My unarmed attacks now deal decalm or demove, whichever is higher. I gain +2 DR, and I automatically intimidate all non-blooders who fail a will check. So I'm going to roll my grit there. So I burned 6 grit, and that's a standard move, so that means I can't really do anything else this turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then what I'll do is I'll move that. I'll if I can, I'll move closer just to kind of be like the first thing that this thing encounters on its journey to the rest of the team.
That makes sense.
And what that looks like is all of my little crystals that are in my skin kind of pop, and red little foggy, weird, wet stuff flows out of them, except now that I have Imperial blood, it's got a little bit of purple in it. And my form kind of like expands or inflates around that. And all of my proportions get horrible.
Freaky. We love it. We love to see it. Zeke is up next.
So Zeke's gonna throw the shotgun on her back and draw her pistol instead. Gonna just move over to Vivi and just kind of get between him and the oncoming walker and take a shot.
It is slow but hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do something about that.
Is that with the nanite shotgun?
No.
No.
I have just a
standard
pistol.
Weapon.
Yeah.
Pistol.
Normal pistol. Unless I was also given shotgun shells, because I would take some extra bog standard shotgun shells.
I don't think you have typical shotgun shells, so I was asking if you were using those nanite shells.
No. Normal gun for this.
Yeah.
Calm. All right.
Yeah.
Is 6.
Great. I rolled a 2.
Awesome. So I roll damage 2d8.
Nice.
Twice. It's a 2 and a 7, so 9 damage.
Okay, fantastic. Big lump of the mass of nanites with a weighted leg and half of a head fall off. Sort of slimily, like when you hit cornstarch and water. As you strike it, it has solid form, but after you've stopped hitting it, it sort of melts into a mound.
Yeah, see, I told you it was going to be fine. We got this. All right, that's my turn.
Totally fine.
And then the rest of it acts next, and it's going to run up to the count and try to scratch, bite, bludgeon all at the same time. So
all 4 of my arms extend, ready to take the blow.
Fantastic. It's going to make 1 combat move, and so you can roll a move to dodge.
Yep.
I only rolled a 4.
I rolled an 8 plus 2. I rolled a 10.
All right. So you're just like parrying, like block.
Yeah. Well,
block.
I'm pushing against it with one of them because my arms are really long now. So it's like swinging in the air between us like a high school bully.
Yeah. Perfect. And the last in the order is Exalted Nestweaver.
Sorry, I have I'm 6.
Oh,
or
6 is 6. I'm sorry. You're next.
Great. How far away is it?
I
It's
guess
within a
it's-
move. If
Okay.
if you were to want to move, close the distance, you could.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm just gonna shoot it with my hand crossbow. Great classic.
Yeah.
And it's normally a. Am I rolling it with comm to contest its dodge?
It'll dodge with move. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a D2.
Which is a D2.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and not boost. So D4 plus 1. I rolled a 1.
I got it too.
Okay.
But also,
do I automatically fail if I roll a 1?
Yeah, it's always
Okay,
a fail.
great. So I waste a crossbow bolt.
Okay.
Does it hit me
On
on a 1?
a 1, I think there's a chance.
You could have everyone roll to dodge if it's an errant crossbow bolt. Also, Cameron,
Oh, yeah.
what causes the failure? Are you being,
Yeah.
you notice you step in a pile of goo?
I'm initially distracted because I'm trying to like reconcile how this one looks with how the other one looks, or how I've seen these Hulks in the past, and this is somewhat more horrifying than the previous one. So I take aim, but at the same time that I'm taking aim, Where the World's skin pops off, and I'm just completely distracted.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah,
that draws my attention
great.
towards the count, and being not a combat person, I misfire.
Great. Yeah. So I'm going to, let's see, roll 1, 2, 3. I'm going to roll a d6. On a 1, it clatters out into the space uselessly. And on each of the other numbers, it hits something. Let's see. 2 through 4 is one of the 3 other players. 5 is Gix, and 6 is the city and or I have an idea. I'll just tell you if I roll a 6. I rolled a 3, so it's coming towards Zeke.
Rude.
Will you roll dodge on
Yeah.
errant crossbow?
I rolled an
And
11.
move. Oh, phenomenal. It's like the Matrix.
Sorry, I shout.
I'm just going like, yeah, don't worry, we got it. Hey, look out! Watch it.
And then now we're down to the bottom of the count, and that's Exalted Nestweaver.
Exalted Nestweaver is, so you hear from the polyphonizer, I'm not going to do this, but a horrible screech. It doesn't bother you except for your ears, but this is broadcast terror, Ryan. So aimed at the mass of limbs.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
I can read it out if that's
Okay. I'm doing the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you read it out for us?
Burnate Crit. You seriously scare one sapient or quasi-sapient organism or machine for a number of hours equal to your level. Terrified beings are reduced to basic survival instincts. They are terrible at everything except running away from you and all other potential sources of danger. If a terrified being attempts to do anything except flee, they suffer disadvantage on every roll. Moreover, terrified beings actively run away from you.
Great. So the things, the parts of this that are alive and maybe had sapience are the pieces of the city that came out of the damage, and they are now scared of you, of the city, of everything around them, and they start to like pull the mass of nanite sludge away in the other direction. and sort of aimlessly, blindly blunder off into the distance, colliding with other walls, causing more damage in the City of Scales, but leaving the void miners safe for now.
That was unpleasant, but
Oh, that was
helpful.
awesome. I mean, basically went entirely according to plan. So, yeah, good job, team.
We did successfully shoot the gray-goo.
We shot the GU'UMKU. Well, I did.
Did we learn anything from this?
Yes. The Count as kind of like shakes off the crazy cloud of nanites and returns to normal size and picks up the chunk of Shambler that was blasted off and starts sort of eating it casually. You tell me if I have another tropical vacation. But as I'm doing this, I'm like, we learned that city help is new.
That is new.
The Weaver does want this eradicated.
Well, I guess the question is how much good did we do with that one shot so far? Like, maybe the chain reaction's still going, or maybe we can have a look. I just want to look up and down the riverbank and see if it's kind of starting to flow back in or what's happening.
It's not. Whatever you did to sort of break off this stream of the Quicksilver Plague has, completely worked. It's no longer in this room, just the remnants, the dead nanite ash left in its place.
If we move quickly, perhaps we can catch the stream retracting and follow it back to its source. So,
Yeah.
although
Great, let's go.
I understand you are injured, Count, perhaps now limping quickly would be okay.
Oh, I am eating. I am happy. I have gunch. I feel great.
Solitaire.
Speaking of eating this, nanite and City of Scales amalgamation, it is burning off all your taste buds. It hurts
Authentic,
bad,
very authentic.
but it isn't doing the psychedelic stuff that it was, or when you ate some of just the City of Scales on its own.
I think what happened that
venture.
time was I had failed the reason check to feel feelings, and this time I passed it just now. I think that's why
It's
I
just
had my trip.
A hot wings challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask me
burning.
questions about my career, bald man.
Yeah. So if you'd like to sort of beat feet, chase down the ash of the stream.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Yeah,
love
you
to
can follow
take a
that
sample
trail.
of that.
Just the ash, or
yeah.
the lump of the
Nope.
that the Count was eating.
You can,
Just the ash.
you can have it. That's great. You look like you're enjoying it. You just carry on. No, just the nanite dust.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I think along the way, if you wanted to make like a reason use tech check just to assess what this is, whatever tools you have on you might do the trick, just to sort of identify this.
Also, I have a question just while we're doing rolls from. Oh, go ahead.
I rolled a 4 + 1. 5.
Okay. And the Count, what was your question?
When I did my really wonderful idea with the vial of nanofluid, did I use that all up, or is there any left?
From the vial that you
the
collected
vial into the
previously,
shotgun shell. Yeah,
I think it's all gone.
that was an expensive choice. Okay.
Yeah. Unless
No, I accept that.
No, unless you had any reason not to submit a sample to Amaago or to the archive, I imagine that you would have given over some of your research to them essentially, but you might have saved some of the goo for yourself as well. So, great. And as for Zeke, on the fly, it's hard to tell exactly what this is, but basically there seems to be no activity in these nanites.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I have some like a test tube with a cap, and I'll just take a sample. I figure Amaago always wants to, she likes that kind of thing.
Totally. Good to have,
Yeah.
Take a sample.
While I'm at it, are there any plants around? If you think I'm not going to ask this question literally every game for the rest of eternity, you're just going to have to.
No, I love it.
Have to get used to it.
Let's get a will perception, will to perceive check.
Oh, I'm great at this.
And I'll.
3.
Okay. I think the answer is you do not see any plants, and I think that maybe that's something that Jesse and Wythe and I will ponder for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I literally mean every time.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Fantastic.
Forever.
You got to make us work at it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Okay, great. As you work your way through to the outer edge of the city, it takes you at least as long to catch up with the runaway reaction in the nanite stream. As I lost the train of thought in that sentence, but you get outside of the city before you catch up. So you can look back on the outer edge of the city, which has the sort of greenish snot resembling, the very outer edge. So passing by the final hardened, chitinous carapace walls, and one layer of goo, snot encasing the whole city that seems to be able to seal in the atmosphere in undamaged parts of the City of Scales. In previous ventures, you were able to, breathe without your enviro suit, and there's more gravity locally than outside of the city. But you finally chase this down, and the stream has retracted, split itself, and you come to the end of the burnt out nanite ash, and just off in the distance you see the Quicksilver Plague having pulled out a rearing snake head, the end of that tendril or arm of the mass of nanites that used to be a hulk.
Zeke wants to try and, based on what they've learned and seen, try to tweak the programming that they did with the gun before, or kind of apply some of that for the next shot. Because this looks like a good place to give it a try. Hopefully we don't have to attack anywhere.
That's why you brought the nettle shield along, right?
Yep.
And thinky boost. Drugs.
Wasn't there another option to program it, like a reason check?
Oh yeah, it can be really good on a reason check, but I'd have to boost that anyway.
Yeah, maybe someone else can.
Yeah, I mean the count has very high reason, but has catastrophic failure states, it seems like. So
Can we work on this together? Can we collaborate, try to problem solve and reprogram it together?
yes, I often am telling servants that they are welcome to give me their ideas.
Oh, if I see any, I'll send them your way.
Oh, very nice.
Good.
So do you want to help me, or are you done eating or whatever you were doing?
Yes, I am happy.
Great, let's work.
All right, Wythe. This was. Can you remind me the thresholds of how to reprogram these nanites?
Absolutely. So each shell has a state from 1 to 4 in terms of its efficacy, which we've, of course, determined in our heads, but not discussed before this game, Ryan. So you will have to interpret that they start at 1, and if you want to boost their efficacy, you can burn 10 grit to boost it 1 step, or 25 grit to just jump to 4. You could also roll reason and just try to get a 12 or higher, which You're
Mhm.
you're really, really trying to, per the movie Hackers, move your fingers really fast on a keyboard and make something happen there, but you're not doing it the right way. So any combination of that, if you fail, obviously the results could be bad. You can't really fail with Jack. So that's, again, sort of one reason to use the power if you can. Otherwise, yeah, roll and try not to get a 1 as usual.
Yeah. So because I'll roll reason to help Zeke. Would
Maybe we can say working together, aiding. Whoever makes the check will have advantage. So essentially, 2 dice working together, but you take the better.
That's very kind of you, Brian.
yeah. So I'll help you, Zeke, if that works.
Sure. So we can either roll reason, or I can just burn 10 grit to bump up the efficacy by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is this the tendril that's receding? Is that the arm that was attaching it? That was the arm that was attaching itself to the city.
That's correct.
So, from what we can see, there are no other attachments to the city at this moment.
Right.
We perhaps I might take a crack at it if you want to save yourself and I pat your back, in case we do need to tack out somewhere.
If you want to have a look, that's fine with me. I mean, I can give it a go, but I'm not sure how much more I can do this.
Yeah, I will take the safe option this time, although my reason is okay, and I'll burn 10 grit to boost it up to the 2nd tier. Is that correct?
Is the burn 10 grit from the power Jack, Wythe, or is that just a separate power?
Or is that
separate,
Yes,
cost?
yes. You have to be a trained engineer.
Got it.
Who
Okay,
knows.
then I will burn 9 grit
Yeah, to boost.
and I'll roll reason with advantage with the count's help.
Yeah. So I'll help you. Do I have to roll anything to help or no? Or I'm just helping?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I put 4 arms reassuringly on your shoulders.
Yes, reassuring. All right. First one was a 5. I'll just roll again to see if I can get a higher tier. But with the 9, that was a 7. So 16.
16 exceeds 12. So you you ratchet this shell up to efficacy level 2.
You feel the tension leave my shoulders as you touch.
Great. And then can I try so we can get this up to 3?
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I help him?
My turn. My turn.
Oh, so
Everybody burn their grit.
This is what I learned, and I'm like trying to get around his arms to like point down at this very small object and guide him.
And I guess 20 fingers pointing very, 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 very precisely at this little shotgun shell. Tiny tendrils of nanofluid eke out of my nails until they're almost touching, maybe. And I burn 9 grit also.
Didn't do that.
So that's, I don't need to roll again. It's a 7 + 4 + 9. So.
Whoa. Yep. Definitely exceeds 12. And one of these canisters is at efficacy 3.
Teamwork. Ezekiel, you are smart with helping.
Yeah. Go team. Good stuff. That's awesome.
I think maybe as we raise the stakes here, we should take a little bio break. We'll maybe take 15 minutes and do a little patter and then get back into the game.
Okay.
How's everybody feel about that?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Yeah. What do we see, Jesse, as we zoom away for a moment? What is that voice in the City of Scales doing anything as everyone else flees for the bio break? Sorry.
City Scales is pleased, I guess.
Excellent.
Just sickos.txt, right? Or .png, I guess. Yes.
Yes, that face. Great. Well, this is great. Everyone, take a break.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Meanwhile, we'll have a word from our sponsor. That's not a thing. We're not going to do that. We're just going to take a break. We'll be back in 15. It's 3:45 almost. We'll be back by 4, probably a little before 4. We're back. I'm back.
Hey, wife.
Maybe no one
I'm
else is.
back
Hey, Ryan,
too.
what's up? How's it going?
Oh, pretty good.
Hey, Ryan, have you heard the news about the newest game from the Stillfleet studio, Danse Macabre Medieval Horror Role-Playing?
It turns out you're talking to the right person. I have heard the news. I'm going to be playing a game on the Discord next week to get my feet wet with Danse Macabre so that I can run some games at cons this summer. I've been playing with Chris, the author, at cons and online over the past, 2 years that they've been working on it?
Yeah.
Great setting. I'm very excited about.
It's very cool. I was just talking to Chris about we may be doing a sort of Paris mega dungeon book along with the core rule book. So very excited to be working on that with them. They were, plugging away at the book, and it's there's a ton of illustration and now graphic design from Anthony Grasso from Blister Critters fame. And it's really cool to see the two of them working on, the core visuals, the core look and feel, and to have our little Kickstarter preview page. So we were hoping to launch in the fall, but, it depends a little on follower count, interest. And, on the production side, we're still figuring that out, but we're pretty confident that we can do basically the books. We want to do a couple books for this. We just might not do a box this time. We might do that maybe in the future. But really excited to have another cool game with the grid system, totally different, but similarly researched, just much more about actual history and wild anime style mutants, and not Stillfleet stuff, but still body horror. So everything we do, kind of body horror.
Kind of a little bit.
Hey, it's Jesse. Oops,
hey, Jesse.
All body horror. How's it going, Jesse? How you been?
Oh, you're muted.
I'm fantastic.
Excellent. Maybe we could get Jesse to, kill some voidminers or something in the upcoming 2 hours. We'll see.
We'll see. Oh, I was just
hey.
we could have some sneaky GM talk with all of the players gone, but I guess Matthew ruined that. Oh, I didn't mean go away. But yeah, I'm excited to get into some more weirdness and have Exalted Nestweaver. We now know her name, Crazy, as potentially a speaking role. Not that anyone on the stream might know, but players of the NARM campaign have had a few run-ins with her before, and she hasn't been quite so gregarious. Not that maybe she's that gregarious today, but more aligned with the players than ever before.
Yeah, there's time left.
Still a jerk.
There sure is time left. Yeah, I'm excited. I've also, kind of gotten so used to the 2-hour, rocket pace NARM games that I'm enjoying having a little bit more breathing room in the longer session today. Get more patter between, say, the Count and the Nettle Shield. Delightful. Yeah, so
we love to be sassy war machines. Alien and all the androids have been a big inspiration on me. It's how I try to connect myself in the workplace. Maybe passive aggressively killing my coworkers. No, that's not true. Thanks everyone for playing. Thanks for the delightful patter and exploration so far, and I hope everyone's having a good time. We'll check in. Everyone feeling good? Ready to do another sesh of this same venture? Really see what's going on with City of Scales, and this new NPC, Exalted Nestweaver, new but not new for those of you who've been playing the Living Campaign. Which, if you're interested, we're trying to do these living campaigns for our games. So Stillfleet, we have at least one NARM game every 2 weeks. If there's more, we'll try to do more games. So thanks a lot to Ryan and Jesse for organizing and running these games with me, and thanks to y'all for playing today. So with that, I think, Ryan, do you want to kind of kick it back off and reset the scene and, throw some more obstacles in the way of our intrepid Space Marines?
Yeah, without a doubt. So you find yourselves now exterior, the city of Scales. You look back on a enormous snot blob the size of, empire or an imperial island on Terra, 100 million years ago, and look to the mass of softly undulating nanite blob in the distance, which used to be a hulk by the name of, I never get it, GU'U'MKU, Roar of the Reed Eater, and is now undifferentiated mass of nanites with one appendage. It's retracting into a rearing snake head. You've just charged up one of the canisters of, how did Amaago call these?
This is the delivery system
Smart dust?
for a reprogrammable smart dust. Yeah, a smart dust that the archive has made. So very primitive nanites that are really just trying to turn off the more advanced LT nanites, which, of course, you all know have been given the archival designation of Gray Plague Fast Variant Undifferentiated Navionoma 8. So sort of like COVID for us, but for these war machines, this is an infectious gray-goo plague. It will just shut down late Tefnian artifacts by just making them be nothing, just little nothings.
And meanwhile, the Threnodian Polyphonizer, this little cobbled together bug and code and weight and goo, has been humming to life with the maybe thankful words. How would you characterize the sentiments now coming from Exalted Nestweaver, Jesse?
Surly and insistent on help.
There you go, surly. And insisting on your help. You've ceased the corrosive damage that the nanite stream, the Quicksilver Plague from GU'UMKU, but some damage still remains, and Exalted Nestweaver wants your help.
How lethal do you think, and I'm asking the party this, it would be to get onto that ship?
Which one?
The Gray Plague ship.
Why? Can we shoot it from here?
How far away is it?
It's pretty far away.
Through space, yeah?
Yeah. You might want to close some distance, but even from here, you could probably make contact with you're shooting itty bitty nanites into a atmosphereless space, so they'll continue to travel.
But if we were there, we might perhaps learn a little bit more and be able to better. I suppose I just want to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Why it happened in the first place.
Right. And if we just shoot it from here, outside it, and it goes away, then we won't have really learned that much.
We will learn how to make it go away.
This is true.
And
Just
if
feeling
it's a-
out how everybody's thought processes are going.
No, you are good vizier. Geeks, what if city has brain word about?
Brain word about
Thoughts?
thoughts.
This is good.
This is
The word
is
thoughts
so good.
emanates from the universe.
Is what I'm talking
I
about.
use them. Yes, brain words. I switch on the polyphonizer and try to ask the city how it's feeling. Does it feel better? Do you feel any better?
How is burning?
How's the burning?
Yes, like urologist.
He gets it.
Ryan, did you say that
Yeah.
there is still some runoff, or 'cause
Uh,
it's split?
There is damage left over, but I think that the sort of sloshing slime mold arm that once extended into the city is no more.
Okay, great. You did well for now, but make sure it doesn't happen again.
It would like us to blow up the ship and learn more about what's going on.
You are very interpreting of different thoughts.
That's some editorializing, but
Brain words.
Yeah, we can hear that one. Speak to us. Well,
Oh, right, because Gix is probably more familiar with Exalted Nestweaver's words coming straight into his brain.
Right.
That he thinks he has to translate, even though now it's coming over the speakers.
She's also been saying, Gix, get it together. Like, she's been addressing him specifically because
That's true.
she's been in his brain.
does the Weaver like you or hate you?
It's like a bossy mom. Is how I would describe it. So, yeah, little column A, little column B.
I have a question, which is the ship, the late Tefnian ship that's all gooped up.
Yeah.
The name is Roar or something, right? Roar of the Reading.
Yes.
Do I get the sense that there is any sort of like how the nettle shield has a personality? Is there any personality left in this ship that I can get a feeling about?
When
Oh, sorry. Go
Sorry, I
ahead.
was going to say, I think I kind of did a check on that earlier. And
Oh, right, and it was as
if
dead as
my
50,000 sparrows.
understanding
there
of
were
that check was
machines.
correct, the Weaver basically said it's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can imagine like or Brian, if you want me to make up what this looks like. This is a
Oh, yeah.
proto Char class or proto Debosh class carrier. So it's small, but it's still much bigger than a Sepid and than a shuttle. So it's like more like a cigar shape or a sun shark shaped, but hollow in the middle. It's been kind of blown apart. The whole middle, it's been struck with something, a rail gun or some sort of quantum foam beam. So it's really just like an empty shell, but the shell was still pretty thick and was full of nanites. But the nanites over time have lost their elasticity, to use a metaphor, and leaked out. But they've all basically leaked out onto City of Scales. So the ship itself is basically an empty thing. And your characters would not see this, but we can cut back to the flashback. And you know, in an anime, when flashbacks and things in other scenes are drawn in a different style. So imagine we go from the gritty realism of like a Paul Pope Batman style of the Voidminers to this is like a weird chibi animation, like Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z style of we see the different ships fleeing, leaving Jupiter, leaving Saturn for the great gates built into space to go to different points as the fleet is expanding throughout what they will soon call the hegemony, throughout the galaxy as the Tefnians take over. And they're talking to each other. And this one's a real chatty Cathy. and we get to meet some of its friends, blah, blah, blah. And then we skip forward, and as it's parked waiting news for, about who's winning the Wars of Succession back on Terra, which pyramid it now serves, it's zapped through the equivalent of its brain by this quantum foam from one of the other more sophisticated, very late frigates. And it is dead. It carries no troops. It is empty of basically almost all of its operating nanites. It really is just a big ceramic steel shell in space.
Okay.
It is but a plague machine.
But my feeling is perhaps is worth getting close, maybe, and why is nanite go bad? Is just time? Is strange? Nanite usually long last. So I am having lots of brain thoughts that end with question mark.
Questions.
Yes.
Questions count.
This is why I said question mark. I am not stupid. I am colloquial.
You are.
But
Anyway.
so much for diplomacy.
Mistranslation, I think.
Yes.
What is the gravity situation? Remind me. Could we launch ourselves into space up there? Would we need a ride to get there?
The gravity situation is very low. There's more gravity somehow mysteriously within the City of Scales than there is outside. And basically, you're in a situation where all of the gravity, the gravity of the entire ring of NARM works on you pretty equally from every direction. So if you were to, effortfully jump from the surface, you could probably get out, setting yourself onto a slow trajectory toward the, wreckage, the lumpy, undulating mass of nanites. Or the nettle shield is nearby and has a little bit more directive, motility. So you could ask for his help.
Which comes with its own costs.
Such as having to speak with the nettle shield.
Precisely.
Given those options, I think I should just take a running jump.
Perhaps you could.
And do we want to shoot it?
I can
But do we
probably
wanna
angle
shoot
the shotgun so that the blast will push me back here, and then, job's done. How hard can it be?
It's not
But did we want to
the-
learn about it, or did we just want to blow it up?
We
Like
sample, we get sample, and then poof, easy.
I would, I'd rather not,
I would.
actually touch it myself.
I jump with you.
Two-part. Gather
so
sample and
you jump
shoot
with
on the
me.
way out.
Yeah, I'll throw you into it, and then I'll shoot it.
I like this.
That sounds great. What could possibly go wrong?
Could the city, with its last remnants of elasticity, perhaps get us closer to it? Because the city's growing.
The city is growing, but on the scale of weeks to add a ring.
Could make arms.
You could probably ask Exalted Nestweaver for help in some way, but I don't know.
I think
we
I
could
asked
figure that
it
out.
to turn on the walkie-talkie.
We turn on the walkie-talkie.
Oh.
The Threnodian polyphonizer.
Do you ask something specific?
The Exalted Nest Weaver, we would like to humbly ask for your assistance to get closer to the burning thing so as to ensure that it will never burn you again. And if I could hazard a charisma, negotiate. I don't know how that works in terms of, since it's a character versus full NPC.
Yes,
Yeah. Oops, I just clicked on the wrong thing. But as a witness, There's got to be some kind of a way, right, for you to.
Well, I have
powers,
one
but I don't
I
know.
would definitely want to use if it goes poorly, but
Right. Yeah. So you're just kind of trying to bend her ear and get her on your side, right? So I think maybe charm against charm, or will, maybe, if that makes more sense to you, Jesse. But we could just make it an opposed check.
okay. Okay.
Cool. It's the same stat anyway.
Nice.
I will burn 3 grit to give myself +4 total to this roll. That is a 9 total for my roll.
I also got a 9.
Whoa. Well, I think Initiator wins a tie. So
I'm sure
BV,
that
yeah.
it's not something that you want to do in getting closer to it again, but we truly will be able to help you more if you help us? Question mark. And I point at the count.
So
It's callback to when I said I understand now.
It was a callback count.
I thought you were showing due deference
He
to
knows
my
callback,
aristocratic
but not
position.
thought. How does he know callback?
It was
but not
callback
thought?
and solitary,
And urologist, but not thought.
but not question or thought.
I am like Walt Whitman multitudes.
Okay, so me,
I can
me asking,
contain but don't understand multitudes.
not Exalted Nestweaver asking, but Jesse, you're trying to go
Closer,
to-
like if we could get a launch pad, goo arm staircase, snot bubble, floating snot bubble, like however this city works, to bring us
Yeah.
closer to collect a sample or and shoot it, not and or collect and shoot. Doesn't have to get us all the way there with the low gravity, but just a little boost to make it safer for us, for the team.
Or make rope out of many small weighted arms.
A rope would
Or-
be absolutely fantastic
That,
in this scenario.
yeah.
With extra for snack.
A rope made out of like chicken wings.
Chicken
Um,
feet.
So the thing is, I think I'm not sure you're asking the right question. What do you think, Ryan?
You might be right. I don't know exactly what you're thinking. Is there a question you think they should be asking?
Well, I think
I
you're
guess-
being too specific. If you're like, can you grow an extra arm and like give us a bubble ride?
Exalted Nestweaver doesn't really get it. Is that what you're saying? But if you were like, send us there, more vague, Exalted Nestweaver could help. Is that what you're thinking?
I think she could.
Okay.
I think I like hear the sort of like the machinations of it, like humming and hawing, and I'm like, if to be more clear, it's simply because I don't know your, I'm sure, endless and wonderful capabilities as the nest weaver, adjective, adverb, exalted. Just take us to the burn.
So,
Launch us to the burn.
okay. She could do that. It might not be pleasant, but you can all feel yourself get pushed
Oh, here we go.
by a power. It's not goopy. It's just like
a push. Is this a specific power that you're referencing?
Yes.
Is that okay to share if that's the case?
Yeah.
Okay. We're thinking. Or we're moving, thinking about thinking too much, thanks to the count.
Vivi was going through all their words of like transport, send, gallop, launch, and then we all just suddenly like go.
Is different ontology of hive mind I've seen before.
They all have different ways of communicating. You just have to find the right one.
That's why you bring a witness.
Specialist in ontology.
He knows ontology too.
So are we floating through the air towards...
I think we're on our way, unless there's more specifics that Jesse you want to share. We can just be getting close.
I just used hurl across.
Ah, okay. Which, yep, we're going.
Hell yeah.
So,
Fast too. I don't remember if hurl across is the one I'm thinking of.
in the blink of an eye. In the
Just
blink
like-
of an eye, you
yeah,
transport
so-
an object within 5 meters of you whose mass does not exceed 10. It's
Yeah.
X
You're
grid.
gone.
Wonderful. So unlike transport within the Nettle Shield, who cushions you in custom-made couches to minimize G-force, Exalted Nestweaver does not take such a gentle approach, and you are simply now within the cracked shell of GU'UMKU. It hurt really bad. You passed out briefly from G-force, but now you're inside of the Hulk.
See? How is
You might have to retch.
easy?
Great job. That went totally as we all expected it would.
It was just a little few words.
Yeah, we got there. And she's just gonna try to pat him on the shoulder very violently. Good job. Good job.
Gix just holds up the Threnodonian polyphonizer to his face. He goes, "Thank you." Turns it off.
There you go.
Yeah,
so now,
kind of just shaking his head.
yeah,
like a
you
wet dog.
kind of collecting yourselves, getting your bearings, and you can see out of the enormous mar in the side of this sort of elongated egg that you're within. The snake head arm of the mass of nanites is far off in the distance, and as disoriented as you, it was looking for you to smash you again, and it over a few seconds sort of settles back down to the surface of NARM and starts to branch out into smaller and smaller sort of fractal, like pad on the surface of NARM.
All right,
That
so
Look good.
before it spreads out too much, we should do something about it before it finds something else to eat.
Two-part. We find info if we can about what went wrong with the nanocytes here, and you go shoot it.
I'll just go.
Two-pronged attack, but one of
Cool.
them's not an attack.
Hey, Count, you want to come? Maybe get some samples to take back.
Gix
Yes.
and I will do the non-fighting stuff.
Awesome.
Okay.
So 4-prong.
4-prong, but 2 together.
So chopstick.
2 pairs of chopsticks not separated yet.
In the little
Can I call a nettle shield?
Yes.
I don't know how to do that, but can we ask the nettle shield to pick us up?
Yeah, I think that I don't know exactly what the technology looked like, but there's probably some manner of connection that, since Nettle Shield is within range, you can radio out or something like that from your Enviro suits, like walkies.
Yeah. Nettle Shield is definitely not listening to everything you're saying, and like GIF of like eating popcorn as you struggle variously. So it definitely isn't just instantly responding whenever you use your walkies, as though it's just there with you all the time whenever you use electromagnetic, communication.
Great. So if we we got here, which is great, good. So you guys stay here, and we'll take. I mean, if it decides to show up at some point, maybe it can give us a lift or drop us, because it's the nanites are kind of quite far away from us now. Yeah, like we would have to get close to them somehow.
The nanites still sort of envelop the hull or the husk of the ship
so
where they originated.
Okay,
which
so
we're
we're
in right
contact
now.
with
Which
them.
you're in. Yep, correct.
Oh, right, great. Then she can do what she wants. Probably listening to soap operas or something.
But there was
Yeah,
like
this
the
is
snake.
as good as a soap opera, basically. What you guys are doing.
Well, should we go to? I imagine we're in one side of the ship that's, connected to where it's broken open and the nanites are streaming out of, which is, I guess, where the snake is rooted or something. So
Yeah, you could say that.
Should we try to move in that direction?
Yeah,
And
I think
that's both of
Search.
our both
Right.
pronged goals anyway. It's
Yeah.
kind of the base of the snake. So let's head that way.
Let's
Okay.
all
Yeah.
go together.
Find the source.
United.
This is like when you are saying goodbye to someone and then you are going in the same direction and you're not knowing what to say. It's so awkward.
You just have to laugh.
And then you get on the same train.
And then you are on the same train. And
And then you're like, oh, wait, we live together. I forgot.
Yes, and then your wife takes you to the hospital because he's like, why do you not know who I am?
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody's had that happen at least twice.
Yes, yes.
So we go that way.
We go to the source.
Go that way.
I'm already gone.
Yeah, and enact whatever plan that you would like to. I don't think that there's anything specifically standing in your way. The nanites don't seem to have a sensoria in this location, which is responding to you as stimulus.
I wanted to look for like a nanite printer or some kind of because one of the questions here is, why are the nanites going after other ships? Have they been programmed to do that? So we're looking for where, what has programmed them to do that, or where are they coming from, and kind of trying to locate that.
Something that the Theronian polyphonizer has been used to do is sort of map out, right, within the city of Scales. And it's been tuned to the city, so it's especially good at doing it in that space. But it can also use sort of sonar, LiDAR, long wave, whatever it takes, to map a space that it's in.
I think I have a power that might be useful here.
There you go.
So I'm going to use Remember. I'll burn D6 grit, and I'll rack my brain and recall some immediately useful detail.
Awesome.
And because I know these kinds of ships.
Right.
So I'm going to try to recall where on a ship like this the nanite printing happens. So
okay,
I'll
fantastic.
roll D6. I burn 5 grit. So I recall lots of painful things that I also then obsess over for hours. in addition to the useful information.
Fantastic.
So wait. I think if my memory is correct, and I have no reason to doubt this ever for any reason, is we take the next left, and then another left, and then another left, and then another left, and once we've gone in that circle, we walk to the next door.
Great, let's
Exactly.
go.
You know just the way. But also you remember having, taken that path in the past and had a challenging conversation with a partner that weighed on you for a long time and is weighing on you again.
Oh, Sandra. You were the best genetically modified tiger whoever I taught to speak.
Fantastic. So you find yourself now in the place which the nanites once were, programmed, and it's like right on the edge of this, scratch through the center of the hulk. Half of the room is like burnt out. All of the equipment is either, directly damaged in the same way that the ship is, but or it had some, like circuit fry or EMP blast based on the damage, but nothing is operational.
So it's not like printing more nanosites or anything, like an endless stream.
No, that's correct.
So that might mean that this floating mass of plague is finite, which is good.
But
Yeah.
self-reproduce.
Oh, damn, I always forget that.
But why now? This ship was damaged presumably 5,000 years ago, and it's just been sitting here ever since. And then in the last, 2 months, it's decided to go after some other ships. Like, what woke it up? I mean, clearly nothing woke it up. And she just taps on the wall, dong, dong, dong. Nobody's home unless something came here and made use of what was here already.
But NARM goes on for we don't know how long. Maybe that's a lot of ships. Maybe it's been doing this for 5,000 years as it travels down the tube. Or maybe you're right.
Well, this ship, so in the geography of NARM, are the ships, do they move, or has this ship been within X distance from the go down for as long as the go down's been there?
Ooh, it's definitely something you could figure out, but I think it would take a few hours of math. Kind of three-body problem happening.
Nothing I love more than a few hours of math. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can
Stream's going long.
the
All
count
right,
has a kind
2
of
plus pi plus...
The count has a kind of rough and ready way to see about this, which is to look out the window and see if there's what looks like a scuff in dust on the surface of NARM, to see if this thing moved recently or if it is has been there for a long time.
Okay.
Would that be a reason?
Yeah. Let's go with reason check to just kind of deduce what happened in the last, say, 1,000 years.
That's a 10.
That's a 10. That's a great reason check. And just because of something, some way that the Count knows that nanites sort of work, and the nanotech hulks. You can tell that the ship has been drifting, but incredibly slowly. The nanite sludge that is dripping down onto the interior surface of NARM only fairly recently, timescales are really hard to nail down, reached the surface, and probably that happened a while before it hit the City of Scales, but was sort of inevitable, or might have been hastened by the presence of the City of Scales. So it's just sort of very coincidental movements, and a lot of things all happened by accident.
Geeks, can you ask Boss Mom if there was anything they did with talking to nanites?
Yes, I will try to avoid that phrase, though.
Nanites?
Yeah,
That's
yes,
pretty
the
relevant.
One. That's the one.
Talking?
Never mind. I turn on. I just look at them and then just turn away and turn on the Threnodonic polyphonizer.
Yeah, before you say anything, Yix, don't call me your mother.
Oh, mighty exalted Nest Weaver, my greatest apologies. For I am weak, and it was a slip of my mortal tongue when addressing such a mighty being as yourself. I come to you humbly to request any information that you have about this burning ship and whether you have interacted with it in the past 1,000 years or in the recent past.
Did it talk to you?
Have you spoken with it, or are there any other communications?
Did it call you mommy?
She ignores that.
I'll be quiet.
Well, sorry, that's me stuttering. It's been taken from me. You've seen it. You've seen what it did. I don't know that she has anything more to add to that. But you've seen that it's been taken from me.
Did you take anything from it? Did you ever take anything from it?
I don't actually think she knows what you're really talking about. I mean, you could roll reason, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I think that makes sense. You're kind of like triangulating the gaps in knowledge.
All right, I rolled an 8 on a d12 for reason.
So I would say, Ryan, correct me if there's anything else that you want to add.
Okay.
You could tell that she is like, there was something hurting me. Thank you for blasting it away. That's about as much thanks as you're going to get, etc.
Yeah. And I think when you ask about timescale, it just doesn't register. And so recency is not something that she's going to be able to communicate to you.
So if the way that things are established currently is that this big goop was dripping for a very long time, and City of Scales was expanding slowly for a very long time, it was just bad luck and coincidence that they touch, and the nanomachines respond appropriately to strange impulse and start eating City of Scales. It's not necessarily anything that happened or went wrong. It's just bad luck.
It seems like we may be overcomplicating, and this may just be an eradication mission. But now we have more information, and now we can move forward with that plan with slightly more confidence.
Yes.
Great. Take samples, blow it up. Let's do it.
We have 2 more shots. One on the ship and then one where it touched down, if that's correct that it did touch down again someplace.
It did, yeah.
Okay.
But if we shoot it at the source with appropriately efficacious shotgun shell, are we led to believe that it will spread out and eradicate?
Yeah, it seems to have
bits.
spread out, and if you're hitting it, in a central location, hopefully it spreads out enough to...
Or, yeah, maybe Gix is right. Just 2 shots in center mass.
Dodge
Yeah, well,
hits.
let's start with one and see where we get to, eh?
Yes. Shall we power up the shell again with our teamwork?
I can do it once more, but I'll have to take the shot as well.
I can try. I have good reason, so I could. Everyone else is taking a shot at getting the shell up, so I'd feel bad if we shot a level 3 shell when we could have shot a level 4 shell. That
Both me and the Count are like trying to give you instructions at the same time. You have 6 hands on your shoulders.
the Count is like, you use your nanites this way to do it.
Yes, it's very
That is
obvious.
nuts.
Think about how you want it to look, and then...
And honestly, if you just think positively.
Very helpful. So I'll also burn 9 and then roll a d12. And I got an 11.
Plants on this ship?
And I got an 11.
Okay, 11. What was your question, Jennifer? Sorry.
Are there any plants on this ship?
Oh, are there any plants on this ship? You could look around. Let's make a will to perceive check.
5.
5. 5 is good enough in this case. I was looking for just an easy check. There are definitely no plants on this ship.
But you know for sure, and that's good.
But you know for sure. Yeah, everything that, I mean, in Latefnian, hulks, almost everything was made out of nanites, and all of the nanites have receded, taking anything not nailed down with them.
Makes sense. How did the turn around from just looking in some cabinets and stuff to see if there's anything growing in a corner? How's it going over there, guys? Got it all sorted out?
Well, I think we bumped it to level 2, right?
Oh, yeah, was that on
the... Well, we have 2, so we...
Yeah, there were 2 canisters, one at level 1, one at level 3. And you've
bumped I intended to bump to bump the 3 to 4, so when
I think that's the move.
The place we can find the one place we want to shoot it, and hopefully that eradicates the problem completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
And then we eat the other one.
Well, I won't say no yet. Maybe.
It's pretzel.
He knows pretzel.
He's from Transylvania. It's very close to Bavaria.
Yeah, fantastic.
Pennsylvania? Nope, never mind. I'm sorry, I tried. So did that work?
Yeah. I think you got 11, right, Kix? So that's...
Oh,
wait,
and
you said 11?
By 9. I got 11, but I boosted by 9. So.
Oh, you rolled 11, so you got a 20.
I rolled 11, and then I got a 9, so I got 20.
Got it.
So
it definitely does exceed 12.
Got it. Thank you for everyone's help. Really relied on you all.
Very good.
All right, let's kill this thing.
I'm frantically getting the nettle ship to come to us at the same time. So now would be a really great time.
Wait, before we do that, I go take a sample.
I wanted to take one as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Some fresh samples of the Quicksilver Plague.
Of the plague.
You never know when you might need a plague in your back pocket.
Do we see anything interesting at the heart of it, where it is located? Is it in a particular room, or is there any indication there?
That's a good question. I think it'll take a little figuring to find the best place. So that might be something like
another reason check.
Yeah, reason check.
Yeah.
Now that some time has passed, could I try my insight power again to see if I can sort of like get a lock? Like, oh, there's like a lot of, like little trails of ants coming from this way or whatever, or something that would pinpoint me in the right way. It is a reason check. If that sounds good to everybody.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just burning 1 grit to use the power. Eight. Which is max for me.
Sorry. Which power was that? Maybe I missed it, but
Insight.
Oh, insight again.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So you're like looking around, you're observing the like sloshing of nanites like in slime molds as though they were like sped up, sloshing back and forth. And it's clear that there is like one centralized mass off of which most of the tendrils, although they interconnect, reaching off of the ship in various directions. There's like one centralized knot of undulating nanites. So placing the shot there probably has the greatest, fastest effect on deprogramming the nanites with the smart dust.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of like around searching, and then maybe at the same time, like Gix and I like see this, and we slowly look at each other, and then I look back at Zeke and I go, "Center mass."
You got it, boss.
So like anytime you want to show up to like pick us up would probably be a really great time.
In the background, that message. Yeah, I'm gonna take a shot.
Yeah.
I'll burn 6, and roll combat. Roll the 6, so 12.
Great. This is not opposed. This is just like, a standard check to make a well-placed shot, and you succeed. So you're, not too far, within the frame of this Hulk, like destroyed Hulk, and walking through corridors, finding the right place to position your shot, and loose one sawed-off shotgun blast in it, as it rains out into, your buckshot rains out into the mirror, rippling mass. It takes in all of these, flecks of nanites that just like cause like cone-shaped, like growing dark splotches, and it sort of like rots from this side, and you see those tiny sparks like causing like that cascading reaction that you saw inside the city on the stream, and it starts to disintegrate, rotting, but also sort of causing little jets of the ash to fire back towards you. So everybody is going to need to make a dodge roll.
6.
God fucking.
7.
I got an 8.
Okay, 3
1.
successes and
1.
definitely not success.
Yeah.
So the Count is also a little bit more susceptible to the nastiness of this plague, having the nanites in his own blood, and rain of this, nanite ash, recently deactivated nanites, brings with it just almost corrosive dust that eats through your envirosuit in tiny spots everywhere. You're depressurizing, so you'll have to get out fast.
Could I take a turn to repair my suit? Or do we
yes.
not even have time?
You will be able to repair your suit, but it'll take longer because the damage is so widespread.
Okay. Do I take any health damage?
Oh, yes. I had a die in my hand. I set it down. I keep rolling 6s on my d6.
Ooh.
That's 6 damage.
What's the stratum and level of complexity of the envirosuit?
Very low. It is.
I think it's in the book. It's definitely, yeah, you could do Clank, but probably high Clank, I want to say. Standard envirosuits are 5 Clank and 2 bio. So depending on the system, if it's just structural, 5 Clank or 5 grit to jack. If you're going to do something more complex that involves the fixing basically the life support systems, that would be 2 bio.
Okay. I also have Patch Pro kits, if that's helpful.
That's very good.
Do we have an ETA on the nettle? Maybe we can get you inside fast enough.
Oh, did someone say the name of the coolest person in this story? I'm sorry. I think of myself as being in a story. You probably think of it as real life. What is reality? We all live on the plane of the virtual.
You know, life is kind of a bunch of stories all together in many chapters, in many books, really. I'm sorry, were you coming? Because we need to be inside you very quickly. Don't distract me like that.
Roll charm, Matthew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vivi has been watching at the same time the complete season 115, all 1,000 episodes, a meta funeral for the Carnifactorial Evil Bishop sister drama, and then also a procedural about war machines called Sneak Sneak Dip Cannon. So it's like warring mech detectives, basically. What'd you get?
6.
6. Okay, let me roll.
6 on the dot.
You were very lucky. With Nettle Shield, I usually roll a d12 for Will. Nettle Shield rolled a natural 1. So I think because this is their favorite part of both of their favorite shows, they just feel like they have to save you because they are inside an epic plot because they were really bored for 5,000 years. And as boring as you all are, you're much more interesting than just
This is the peak of the drama. You get to decide whether we live or die. Well, we'd probably be okay. Some of us, but we do need to help the count.
I did fail my roll to be repairing my suit, so I am asphyxiating while trying to put the tape on, I just can't get it to stick.
All up to you. I'm like narrating the drama of the
burning and freezing. Yeah, purple edema across all of your multiple limbs.
You said 5 grit for Jack. I burn 5 to help the count patch his suit.
Sure, standard action. You can just fix that right up. It's sealed properly. You use the patch. I think he had the patch backwards, so the sticky part was on the outside.
Oh,
I was like, why not working?
Look, I know aristocrats just don't do this kind of thing very often, but it goes the other way around and just like stick it on there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I guess Nettle Shield is coming. Ryan, do you want to? I mean, you tell me you have more of a sense of like the objects in space. But yeah, Nettle Shield is the size of like 2 school buses that were turned into a hateful little cuttlefish tank thing. Mm-hmm. So and it can move very, very fast when it wants to. So I mean, it could be there in the blink of an eye from their perspective. But I mean, normally it docks safely. Yeah. It seems like this is not a safe docking procedure situation. I don't know.
Exactly. I don't think there's any place safe to dock, but the Nettle Shield can kind of fit itself into the scar in this ship, and you'll have to, make a running escape.
As the ship deteriorates around us.
Exactly.
How dramatic.
It doesn't really mean anything, and she knows this, but Zeke wants to just take out the sample tube from and just like the dust of the dead nanites, and she's just gonna just press a little bit of it onto like the console of the nanite printer. Like she just feels bad for this ship that just got lost to some war a long time ago, and it was a thinking thing, and it didn't even have time to know what happened to it. And so she just takes half a second to kind of like just remember it, whatever it was. It was probably an evil psychopath, but you never know. It could have been a friend. It could have been nice. So she just takes like a second to remember that casualty before she heads out.
Yeah.
We see the ships playing backgammon together 5,000 years ago before they were obliterated in a pointless civil war. Yeah, it's really deep. Yeah,
right. We're getting the same like flashback in an anime style, different animation, but it's these talking Hulks in chibi style.
I love them.
Oh, mate, I bet I could do something real stupid with my nanites, yeah? Oh, old my nanite bear, watch this.
Yeah, it's just a show of one-upsmanship that got this Hulk into the predicament that it's in, maybe.
One-upsmanship downed this one down person ship.
Oh. Fantastic. So everybody's got a really action movie sequence run away from this explosion. So everybody make a move check for me, standard success or standard roll to succeed.
Can I burn grit for this?
You can burn grit anytime you roll dice.
Okay. Good. We're gonna burn 3.
Yeah. I got 4, so
the count's gonna need some help.
I was distracted by helping him fix his suit and then laughing at him about it, and then also feeling sad about the psychopathic war machine that died a long time ago, and I rolled a 2.
Uh-oh.
I rolled an 8, but so who needs help? Because I have maybe a way to help.
Well, I also rolled a 1.
Okay. But the count is doing the best. All right.
I jumped the wrong way.
It's 3 health equals 1 grit. Let me do some math real quick. I'm going to use Ren's space. So that allows me to instantly teleport to another place that I can imagine, like the inside of a cuttlefish ship. And I can, for 10 grit, and for every 6 additional grit I burn, I can bring one other person. But the question is, do I have enough grit for 3 other? I have 25 grit, so that would mean I have 15 grit, which is 2 people, and then I would have 3 left. And if I burn 9 health, then I'll have enough to get everyone back to the ship safely.
Wow.
And then we have to go immediately back to the station and not do anything else for that. So let's do that. I see that 3 different people, everyone else fell down. And I just, the bandages around me start burning, and you start seeing them glow like an umber orange color. I touch all 3 of you guys, and we instantly blink out of existence and reappear in the cuttlefish ship. The nettle shield.
Fantastic. We love a tremulant.
How is it possible that in the span of 5 minutes I am owing 2 life debts to 2 peasants?
Mondays, am I right, Count?
What is
Skill
this?
issue.
He doesn't know what Mondays are, though.
Welcome back aboard Nettle Shield. Can I service anyone with a frothy delight? And it just starts pouring you all what it describes as lattes with a sort of ube-like mashed root that is highly nutritious. It looks a little like if you ordered something from Dunkin' Donuts and then added a quart of motor oil. But yeah, it's trying to get you all to drink these as it takes you wherever.
I do, for sure.
So you have seen it make blood balloon animals for another fleet or 2 many times and won't touch anything that it makes.
I'll have Zeke's.
They all just taste like
cheers.
blood. Yeah.
You can have it.
It'll just taste like
I pretend to drink it in order to woo it further and further my relationship with it.
Is that O negative?
It's I mean the blood types meant something different with their nanobiotech 5,000 years ago, but yeah, it's whatever you want. Yeah, it's O negative, sure.
Oh, well done, Nettleship.
I am quite out of it and decide to just accept whatever is given to me because I feel very awful right now, and have a little drink, and then I proceed to vomit.
That's okay. We that's good, Gix. You did good. You did good.
And scene.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, what happens now?
I think you're back at the go down, right?
Yeah.
Is this Ryan? We're gonna do a little
once
denouement?
you're in the nettle shields, and the threat has, as far as you can tell, been dealt with in the way that you have to deal with it.
What do we see happen to the? If I can ask, sorry. What do we see happen to the ship, like as it's retreating in the rear view, as it were?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
right. So Gix bips y'all back into the nettle shield, and you sort of each regain your composure and attend to Gix a little bit, and move into the observation end, and look back at the burning edge of the cascading nanite reaction, which like burns out each of the tendrils, the limbs of the Quicksilver Plague. The hull of the husk of the Hulk burning away, crumbling, and sort of like jetting off into various directions, crashing into the surface of the or the interior surface of an arm, and the fractal pad of the once snake head rearing arm that placed itself back down is the last thing to fizzle out, and the red tiny sparks adding up to a like brilliant light show, fanning out into the fractal pattern. The colors change and in bright and very impressive ways. So you return home to your temporary home on this rickety little spaceship off the end of an enormous straw in space. And maybe a little worse for wear, maybe a little shaken up. But maybe you have more like a friend in the City of Scales. What would you like to do next? You probably want to check in with your boss at some point, tell her what went down, but it doesn't have to be the first thing that you do.
I think we take Gix and the Count for some healing, like any emergency station or something like that. Get them like a little patched up.
Yeah, I think if you try to bring me, I shrug it off, and I'm like, I meet you at station, and I go to my room blob, and I stash the piece, the vial of Quicksilver Plague that I took somewhere discreet in my room blob, and then I go meet them at the station, the healing station.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, Wythe or Jesse, but I don't know that we have like a dedicated med bay, as it were. There might be
there's the lab, which is Amaago's office. You can get patched up there. The bodega certainly has basic, first aid kit supplies. There's first aid kits all over, but
there may be like staff medics that could patch you up if you were, say, bleeding out. But R&R is probably the primary mode of you just got to have some downtime and shake it off.
Well, I think VV, like feeling bad as like witness captain of this crew would definitely take time to at least bandage Gix with the most recent rending of their body through time and space.
Thank you.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
We appreciate the attention.
You saved our lives, and I rolled an 8 on the reason check for heal. So I think I just probably grabbed like a first aid like around. If you said that was correct, that there was just kind of supplies around, so I grabbed some and I'm just like patching
without
him
a doubt.
like they patched up Count's suit.
Yeah, the bodega definitely has your basic aid kits, and then you can patch them up a little bit. So
yeah, just lay down for a while, get some water, nothing from the nettle ship, and you'll feel better. But you definitely saved us.
Thanks. Let's make it worth it.
I beam proudly up at you.
I'm somewhat ambivalent, but also grateful.
So where is this happening on the go down? The modules are there. There may be other modules, but there's 10 canonical modules. The airlock, where the nettle shield docks, the bodega, which is the store, the comms array, the engineering module, Habs, the jump jungle, the lab, which is also Amaago's office, life support, which is critical infrastructure, microbasal, which is the office of the refactored drum and groan renter, and the Zocalo, which is where all the void miners hang out and spend
as
time
soon
when
as
they're not sleeping.
I think it's happening at the bodega. Like as soon as I grabbed the supplies, like I just like sat him down in the nearest crate and was like patching him up, like insisting, especially because the Count like brushed me off. I'm like, no, I need to take care of things.
So I think there's a confused Chandler with an oversized old school like calculator with the attached roll of like receipt paper, charging you for all the things you're stealing and using. Quietly. I think it's another Gelasti. She's just looking at you like, like you're a shoplifting teen kind of vibe.
I'm looking at it. It's like when you drink a soda before you leave the store, but you still pay for it.
She just shows you the total. Dang.
And I think she might be new at her job too, because the bodega attendant recently died in the Xenoblade attack. So she's probably last minute replacement about a month ago.
She's accidentally multiplying each thing by like 10.
Well, there's attacks because of the Xenoblade attack. They have to add a new
Right.
That's right. They're in short supply.
Repair attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walk in on this scene as they're being tallied, and I sort of nod at the person behind the desk, and I'm like,
You will, when the Empire is reborn, you are not going to have worry about tax. Shall we to Archivist?
Yes. I'm just like covered in
After you.
Good plan.
Oh, I maybe like hold VV's shoulder while we go. Or maybe not. Well, you're quite small.
Before, when we split up a little bit for a couple of minutes, I have a question I didn't want to ask earlier, but no, it's fine. Can I have taken some samples of like the chitin and the snot stuff from the City of Scales before we got launched into space?
I think that might be a question for Jesse. Yeah.
That tends to have an immediate something happen. Previously, something has happened sometimes when you take a sample from the City of Scales. So I'm not sure if that's something we could do retroactively.
No problem.
Could we roll for it, Jesse, or is there too much potential chaos?
Sure.
What is the entropy potential of this?
Yeah. How many timelines are we rewriting? It's fine. If the answer is no, that's completely fine.
It's good. I'm just trying to think of what to roll. I guess it's usually will.
Oh, great.
We cut back to everybody jumping to the ship. Ezekiel's just not there.
Well, I'll be right there, guys. Hold on a second. 4.
Okay. I feel like that's a note for later.
Oh, okay. We'll chat.
That's not a success. That's not
between
well,
now and the next
I guess
game.
I can. Sorry, I'll roll against.
Yeah.
I'll roll
Okay.
I'll roll against. Let's see if he's. I got a 3. So.
Oh.
Everything's okay. You get a sample, I guess.
Incredible. So, if that's all right with you, as soon as we get back, I'm just going to peel off. Zeke's got such a migraine. Like, half of their vision is just gone white. Like, they just have the worst headache. But they're heading to the tiny little laboratory of Amaago's post-grad student who has, like, a lab in a tiny little closet. And they want to drop off the samples that they took. And they didn't find any plants, so that's the best that they can do. But while they're there, they're gonna stash their vial of the plague like behind like a cabinet, out of sight of any of the cameras. Not gonna mention it to GU'UMKU either, but just like put it somewhere secret where nobody else is gonna look for it.
Oh, you're not even gonna tell her?
Nope.
She's giving you use of her lab.
That sounds like her problem.
Wow.
She doesn't know.
We are so scrupulous.
Now is not the time to talk about it, but it doesn't mean that we won't talk about it. Just now is not the best time to talk about it. And we're not walking back into Amaago's office carrying it, so we got to put it somewhere.
For sure.
Carrying what?
What?
You're carrying
Exactly.
something. What do you
No.
have? Oh.
Just dropped off some potentially xenobotany samples with one of the lab techs here.
Oh, flowers.
Yeah,
you go.
foreign stuff.
I
And
was
I'll
just
rejoin the group
going.
and-
Also, I was doing something non-suspicious.
Thanks, Count. Thanks.
Me too.
Just
Yeah,
doing
great.
non-suspicious friends.
So suspicious. This is as we're
People
meeting in
doing
front of Amaago's
absolutely
office.
nothing of interest to anybody.
Yes. Knock knock.
And you regroup at the lab, and we get to have a like proper denouement, hand in your venture, which is something we don't usually do on our 2-hour games of on NARM.
That's
so,
right.
You're back on in the office of your boss now.
She's got her back to you, and she has welding mask on, and there's some sort of low G welding happening, which you may see if you come closer. But she's got a bunch of stuff, tools out, things latched onto the clean white bend workbench where she often is found designing units like the one she gave you, the prototype reprogrammable smart dust delivery system, aka sawed-off shotgun. Full of pretzels. And she's not paying attention. So how do you approach telling your boss that you did the job and you'd like some money and time off?
I think Vivi just sort of sidles around the room, keeping as much distance between the welding and themselves until, it's like when you're like trying to get into someone's vision so that they notice you without getting in their way.
Right.
Which is like very awkwardly.
She is surprised and whips around, and someone make a move. Actually, everyone can make a move check. You just need 1 6+ result, or else there is a lit welding torch that hits the perhaps flammable bend surfaces of this room.
3.
3.
6.
Oh,
I got a 6.
Great.
Such a migraine.
How does the Count grab the torch? I guess you have a hell of hands to choose from. So,
Well, so I think I finally get to use the new power that I got when I leveled up. I get to use Limb, burn X grit, detach body part to act independently for X plus level rounds.
Wow.
My arm flies off of me and grabs the welding thing before it can come turning around at us.
oh, love
Great
that.
work.
Yeah. The nanobio allows you to sort of detach somehow your musculature, and there's this thin cord of myoblasts and whatever it would be. Somehow it's still pumping. The blood is stopped. You're not bleeding. It just shoots out, grabs it, and reattaches. And it looks really weird to everyone else. To you, it feels totally natural. It feels the same as if you just extended, Dalsim style that last couple feet. Amaago kind of turns around, and then appears suddenly very boss-like. She flips up the lid, and you see the thing behind her she was working on appears to be what you would call a headless rat, with like a metal sort of Mad Max extra set of limbs coming out of what would be its head. And it is now sort of not, you wouldn't say scampering, moving in a more insect-like fashion, sort of crab walking around the bend table in Logi, sort of half floating away. She says, "Why are you here? Shouldn't you be messing with alien cities, vast landscapes of reprogrammable alien flesh and 5,000-year-old war machine blood that's poisoning it? Did everyone die? No, you're all here, right?
We did. This was all of us.
Well,
Mission
that's fast.
accomplished. Considered successful.
Suspiciously fast. Do y'all have the smart dust delivery system that I created for you?" She takes it back. Did you have any remaining smart dust canisters?
Oh, yeah, 1 left.
One? Oh, all right. Were the other 3 useful?
Very.
Varying degrees.
Are you writing it up in your report?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
I think we lost one in the
We
river.
lost 1, and then 2 were at max when used.
Is not lost. It's part of experimental process.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted to put that in the report.
I am proud
I
of
mean,
my.
we put everything in our reports.
I am
I
rigorous.
think you're supposed to decide if you're
I
going to lie to
elbow
me
Gix in where he's clearly injured.
Oh, I'm
before
rigorous.
you come to my office. Anyway, just put it in the report. Put everything technical in the report. I swear there won't be
Everything
reprisals.
is going into
Probably.
the report.
Great. Everything in the report. All right. So what is this current situation with City of Scales? Do we believe City of Scales is safe for future ventures?
I
Define
would-
safe.
hazard I would describe the City of Scales as a possible ally at this time.
Can you say more words, Witness Vivi?
We successfully removed the Quicksilver Plague from it, and it was grateful.
Her.
Okay. That's great. You removed the plague using the smart dust delivery system, and now it's grateful. So we might have an ally in a thing that is a 700-kilometer long city of alien flesh. This is good news. I
It's a
think.
beginning. A
It's a
beginning to a relationship, when you're still figuring things out, and there's this sort of like newlywed period, but not wed yet in that
Witness
way.
Vivi, I did not call for metaphor. I simply asked for a scientific, factual assessment of the threat level on the ground, and you delivered that. So I will overlook your enthusiasm at this time. All right. Well,
Much
is there anything
appreciated.
else you need from me? If we think it's safe, we'll surely return there fairly soon. You didn't take anything back with you from the very, very dangerous, contagious nanite plague area, did you?
I certainly did not.
No.
Who actually did and is lying? Okay, can you both roll charm? And she's definitely going to try to suss out what is actually. She's going to roll a d10.
Yeah, I anticipated this, so I pre-rolled before we went in. I burned 6 grit and rolled a 6, so I got
Great.
12.
All right, then Jennifer, it's all down to you, to Zeke.
Yeah, that sucks. Okay. 0. Okay, that's the best I can do. No, I can do better than that.
Can I help somehow?
I might be
no.
able to help.
9?
I think someone
Poorly.
who's not you can. Okay, is 9 your final answer?
No.
What?
I'm calculating how much health to burn so that I can turn it into this.
I see.
Make
was
yourself
at-
sick so that you can lie better.
Yeah, I was at 2, but I've got all my health. So if I drop 3 grit, 3 health to get 1, that puts me at 3. I'm at 19. And then if I burn 9 more health, I can turn that into 3 more for +6.
Okay, well,
Everybody
let me
happy
know.
with
Let me know what you get when you roll.
that? 2. So 8.
8. I'm glad you rolled an 8. She got a 7. So with that,
Oh.
Ezekiel is someone Amaago takes particular interest in as a sort of mentee in her mind, of course, in whatever way that means, which is not necessarily positive. Although, it never really is in academia, is it? In the end. But she thinks she knows you, but you also know her, and this really matters to you. And you have this almost aneurysm level, like one of those scenes in Breaking Bad where if Walt says the wrong thing, Gus will have him shot in the face, and somehow he does it. So you just are like, no, and she believes you. And the Count is completely impossible to read because the Count is a 5,000-year-old vampire whose brain is sort of melted in cryosleep and now is energized by. It's like you're always doing the most drugs all the time from that imperial blood. So it is really hard to read you, man.
And also, my job was lying. I was an aristocrat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So she just nods patiently and says, "All right, well, as long as no one brought a single droplet of Gray Plague Fast Variant Undifferentiated Navionoma 8 onto the go down, then I think we're all copacetic. You can all get paid. Thank you for this inevitably dangerous excursion back to City Scales. But hey, we're learning a little more about it every time, and apparently, Witness Vivi thinks making an ally of sorts. So with that, possible. Anything else to report of interest? Any recovered architect? Any deep void aliens? Escher-esque events? Did you learn anything about GU'UMKU, the other ship?
Yes, we learned that it was not very good at backgammon.
Any assessments from a non-late Tefnian perspective of the late Tefnian shuttle that leaked the nanites?
Should not my perspective be prioritized? Should I not be centered in conversation?
Voidminer Count, I didn't say it wasn't prioritized. I asked if there was another perspective.
It's dead. Very dead. Has been dead for a long time.
It unfortunately, yes, has.
Not malicious, just bad luck.
What one might call a victim of war.
Yes. It is perplexing how many beautiful, architecturally speaking, computer architecture speaking, sapiences the late Tefnian fleet birthed, only to have them just nuke each other to oblivion. Well, anyway, not our problem. I mean, it is our problem if one of them turns on and has its sights on us. But right now, not our problem. So thank you for your hard work. Take some, a day off, something like that, and write it up. And I probably looks at Vivi again, like chop chop.
Already writing.
Have Zeke help with the.
Just says snot bubble solitaire.
Okay, have Zeke do most of the work and then put your rubber stamp on it. Whatever. Gix, you all right? You haven't said anything.
I don't feel very good.
Gix should
I had
be
a hard
nominated
time
for a Medal of Honor Valor.
I will accept Void Gilder.
She takes a rat whose head has been replaced with a primitive sample-taking instrument. It's made to take very precise 1 centimeter square, very thin, like micron-thin samples from different surfaces, and has all the tools needed for that. But it is pretty much just a pretty smart rat otherwise. And she passes him to you and says, don't lose that. I'm deputizing it as a therapy non-sapient. She sort of is asking you the question of whether you want this rat. It's what she has on offer today.
It's kind of a cool rat.
You could sell it or eat it.
I would prefer that if I could have some more time with the Threnodonian polyphonizer. I feel like I finally understand how it works and would like to continue communicating with the city.
Well, Voidminer Gix, without blowing up your spot, as the kids say about, I think it's a reference to sunspots, I will allow you, because of your unique training, to perhaps use the polyphonizer. You are best poised. But in that case, why don't you give me back the variable multi-tool non-cephalic sampling instrument? I was going to ask you to name it. Also, I assume that therapy animals usually have names beyond, their stated purpose.
Thank you. I'll leave that task to you.
No, I'm not.
It was a kind gesture. Oh, okay.
Thank you. She takes it back. Does anyone else want the variable multi-tool non-cephalic sampling instrument? Okay. She floats it to Z.
I love pets.
Well, it's not a pet; it's a tool. But yes, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's a service animal. It can go into grocery stores and.
All right. Well, get the fuck out of the lab. Vivi, turn in that report. Zeke, write that report for Vivi. Gix, talk to dangerous otherworldly beings and don't get us all killed. The Count, just keep doing you.
Right away.
I think that's it. Yeah. I think that's
you got
all
it,
she has to
Senior
say.
Archivist, Commander of the Go Down, etc., ma'am.
And if I may be offering just one more piece of wisdom from the ancient world that is so unfathomable as to be beyond reckoning to you who are alive now and not were also alive then, you should keep ship more disciplined.
Which ship?
The
I say the name of the ship in late Tefnian before remembering that it's
a nettle shield.
Yes, that is. You are not wrong, Voidminer the Count. The nettle shield is a bit of a princess, as we'd say back in the archive, about different ranks of nobilities of assholes. So maybe not the worst we've ever encountered, but kind of annoying.
Is the nettle shield so noble as to be princess?
On a rank of assholes, it's a metaphor. Ask Witness Vivi to explain metaphors. Now, get the fuck out of my office. I would be more than happy to.
It will take about 2 to 3 hours, so wherever you want to sit down will be great. If we all go and leave, I do lean back in at the very end and I go, just to be clear, the Exalted Nest Weaver is not Gix's mom. And then I leave.
That'll be in the report.
Yeah,
that will be in the report.
Fantastic. So the NARM desk, in addition to the standard rate of 25 Gilder per level, the NARM desk always carries a bonus for each venture of 50 additional Void Gilder.
Nice.
And yeah, we still have a little bit of time, so we can talk through a little bit of downtime activities, or I don't know. Any other thoughts from GMs?
Gix, can we get maybe a little polyphonizer speech going, since I feel like that was the implied next thing besides people writing up reports?
Yeah. I was trying to brainstorm what I want to say, but we've established this rapport, so it seems like a shame if we weren't going to capitalize it. So Gix had already kind of planned to use cloak or some other more nefarious means, like his co-conspirators, to try to reclaim the polyphonizer if he wasn't granted permission to try to use it, because he's really interested in these theological larger questions, and such a powerful entity as ENW is really interesting, or Exalted Nest Weaver is really compelling to him. And because they've been working together or communicating, he wants to kind of, I don't know, learn more and keep the dialogue going. So I guess when he returns to his room, maybe after hanging out with everyone else for a little bit, when he's back in his room more quiet. I guess the rooms are probably with multiple people in them, but when no one's around, he flips it on and you hear the familiar hum of the polyphonizer go in, and he tries to radio down to Exalted Nest Weaver saying, Exalted One, can you hear me?
Who took part of me?
Whoops.
I don't know. Zeke, should we maybe roll to see if I saw you do this back then?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you want me to roll?
When would this have been, do you think?
At any point that we were walking, because we spent quite a bit of time walking through the city anyway.
Okay, but probably before we were chasing the
Before chasing the stream.
Yeah, because that was probably when it started popping up.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'm just going to roll my reason, which was a 6. And I guess
Can I
I
roll
don't know.
movement? What do you want me to roll for this?
What are you
Yeah, I
trying to
think
do?
like move to sneak kind of fits.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would have been
Will
sneaky.
be a more
maybe not.
natural counter, but reason to like clock what your compatriots are up to kind of works too.
Sure. I think reason makes more sense. Because I don't think I was necessarily trying to be sneaky about it.
Yeah.
7.
Okay. So I got a 6. So I was focused more on everything else. So I have no idea who took anything from you, but I can try to find out.
Good. If you're lying, I can get into your head. But
Of course, I know. Please don't do that again. Do anything to avoid it. What did they take?
they took a part of me.
I will find out. How is your healing progressing?
Can I ask, are you lying?
Of who stole it, or am I going to find out?
Are you lying about wanting to find out? Or intending to find out?
I think, given his history and I don't know, this is the most awesome being that it's seen so far. So I think that we've had several connection pieces, or I don't know, conversations, and you've controlled me several times. So I do feel this indebtedness, I guess, or something like that. I do feel like you're very powerful, and you're someone that I want to do favors for, without being so explicit. So I think Gix honestly would be interested in helping.
Great. I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay. Anything for someone so exalted as you. I'll repeat the question of how the healing is going, or if you've been able to repair the damage from the ship. Perhaps this is too informal of a question. Hey, how's it going? Want a beer?
She does not want a beer.
Okay.
It's acceptable. But she sounds mad. She sounds really mad. She's like, you'd better find out who did this.
Okay.
And then she kind of tunes out.
Yeah, we turn it off. Okay. So then I switch the polyphonizer off and put it near the foot of my bed and kind of just sit in my bed and kind of stare at it. questioningly. I don't think he's going to go like find out immediately who did this, but over the course of the next several days, he's going to try to do some reconnaissance or see who's interested in this sort of research. Maybe between sessions.
Yeah, excellent. So, little side quest for Gix. That's fun. Yeah, I guess if there aren't other specific things that y'all want to get done, we can wrap a little bit early, or I can tell you about what I was imagining the the problem that you'll never actually know the solution to, or just shoot the shit. Who knows?
Well, I can tell you what my thinking was with taking the vial and like hiding it to see like how that could resolve in downtime, which is just like because as a player I'm a little unclear on what the actual sort of rules are of engaging with nanofluidics. I know they're kind of like a MacGuffin in a bit of a way, but I'm curious about like, because I have the blood and now I've had Imperial blood in me, like can I, because I assume that this is some sort of vial that when it splashed I got Imperial blood in me, so there's some sort of like sympathy between us, like can I communicate with the Quicksilver Plague? Can I figure out what's in it? Can I find out if I can control it? Or my questions.
Yeah. The short answer to all of your questions is no. In this case, the long answer that there's really no way to actually assess from like without like really sophisticated nanotech equipment is that the Quicksilver Plague is essentially in like a superpositional state of every nanite being every type of nanite, and sometimes when it comes into contact with other nanites, it converts them to it, and sometimes it converts into one random type of nanite. So you luckily got some Imperial blood when it got into your blood with blood in it, right?
Yeah.
But in most cases, this Quicksilver Plague basically just removes specificity from nanites that it comes into contact with.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's helpful. I was wondering why he got Imperial blood out of the little stream, but
yeah. I think in my mind, it's something about like the kinetic action of having shot it with a crossbow, or I don't remember if it was a crossbow, but you shot the stream on the ground, and that like activated it in such a way, and it splashed on you and Cecil, and you both got blood, but different types of blood. Yeah, just very much trying to make a impossibly mysterious thing.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. I'll think about what the Count does with it then.
Yeah.
Probably breaks and drops it by accident, but maybe not right now.
Yeah.
I think we do see a credits roll scene of like Vivi standing with the Count with a bunch of boards, like trying to describe the difference between a metaphor, analogy, and like a simile.
Yeah.
Like, do you know the word like? If you don't, that's good. Metaphors will come much more easily to you, and they will not become similes. And that's an important distinction.
You have the moon,
Mm-hmm.
and what the moon means,
Mm-hmm.
and what you are thinking about what it means.
Mm-hmm.
If it means something else, but you say the moon.
Mm-hmm.
As this is happening, I think
BB's head hits the board.
can we see the camera pan away a final time, Jesse, to City of Scales? And can you give us any little preview, cliffhanger? The characters wouldn't know, but you're telling us, the players and the viewers, what is Exalted Nest Weaver? What is she doing? Do we get any? Can you give us any sneak peek as to what the hell is going on at City of Scales now that it is not threatened by essentially random 5,000-year-old pollution?
It's repairing itself from where it was hurting and going out. And if you go in deeper, you see the shape, a really large shape, somewhere you haven't been in the city. Is that too vague or not vague enough?
What type of a shape?
It's about 10 feet tall. 6, 4 arms, 2 legs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not like
I mean,
count.
for the viewers of the stream, Carl got it in one. He typed in our video call chat, Waitinzilla. I think that's it, right?
So there's a kind of silhouette Nosferatu moment of whatever is Exalted Nest Weaver in her home, maybe even connected. Maybe it's hard to tell where she begins and the city ends in this kind of black and white, lit only by the little chromatophores. Maybe there's light from sort of bioluminescence of some kind running throughout this alien living environment where she's moving, healing, thinking, seeing all that happens around her.
What you sort of see is like thin bat skin kind of going out between these arms. And you remember, or some of you may remember there was some acid, there were some other Waitins in City of Scales. And it's all becoming more chitinous and
becoming more like her. I think we also see, Ryan, if you'll allow one more thing, and then I'll hand it back to you, and then maybe you can close this out or ask the players too, but I think we're basically wrapping up, right? But the last sort of spoiler setup for the next of these, or I forget is it me or you next? I think it's me next, right? For these longer games.
I think that's right. I think you're next, Wythe.
So I think we cut to hundreds of thousands of kilometers away in NARM. So there's ships periodically. Imagine Sol space filled with asteroids. At any given patch of the void near Earth, it seems empty, but then if you have the imaging technology, you can see there's hundreds of rocks flying around, ice, dust, and some balls of gas. So here it's similar, but it's a tube filled with ships that have tried exploring it, and because of the Civil War 5,000 years ago, mostly just stopped and hung out, or a lot of them were blown up. But we see the ones that weren't blown up one by one. We see, a long black triangle of completely reflective new metamaterial from the very end of very late Tefnian hegemony. We see ships shaped like toruses. We see ships shaped like balls with sort of tentacles. We see ships shaped like very large carriers, the Aegis of Vard, mostly blown apart, but still partially functional. We see ship after ship, and one by one, each of them, if we cut to sort of a hyperspectral vision, turns its eye on the wreck of GU'UMKU disappearing. And earlier, Hounded Saw, right? We see each of the ships seeing each of the other ships, and they are now somehow communicating. The fleet is changing, and no longer is the crypt, the sepulcher of many essentially undead war machines, advanced intelligences made for combat. They are very much awake. And with that, Ryan, can you take us home?
Yeah, great. I mean, that's giving me some tingles. That's great. Thank you all for playing NARM. If you're watching the stream, we play these games every other Sunday. This is our off week, so we played last week. We'll play next week. 2-hour games on Sundays. Details are in our Discord, the Stillfleet Discord. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say to wrap this up, but thank you all for being here.
Thank you all for GMing and running and hosting and putting it all together. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks.
you.
It's been a lot of fun for us.
Thanks for Vex and Old One in the chat, and anybody else who's watching. And yeah, come play games with us. We'll be around. All
Thanks,
right.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Good seeing everyone.
Okay.
Good to
I'm
see
going to
y'all.
click end the stream.
All right.
Whoa.